Lewis Hamilton started as a carter with his dad. He did it all on his own back with his father. Fantastic determination. He won in Canada in 2007. James Allen said it will be the first of many. But today, history is made. Lewis Hamilton wins at the Nürburgring and matches Michael Schumacher as 91 career victories. He becomes level with the great Michael Schumacher. And that is history beckoning to write Lewis Hamilton's name into the record books. Hamilton to the line. Can he get ahead of Bottas? Of course he can.
Lewis.
10th and a half quicker for his 97th career pole, and Andrew's happy with that one.
Been holding my breath after that middle sector. 29 to what?
29-2, yeah. That was so close, but Hamilton takes pole at Portugal. Lewis Hamilton has taken pole position for the Portuguese Grand Prix. He stands on the brink of becoming the greatest of all time. If he wins here today, he will become the 92-time Grand Prix winner. And Mercedes today stand a chance of clinching the Constructors' Championship. Welcome to the Portuguese Grand Prix. Formula One heads back to Portugal for the first time since 1996. We're at the circuit of the Algarve in Portimao. Just 6 races remain then on this redesigned 2020 calendar. We're in the middle of a run which takes us to Grand Prix that either have never been on the calendar or haven't been for many years. This weekend, the Portuguese Grand Prix. Next week, a 2-day event at Imola for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Then we take a break before Turkey rejoins for the first time since 2011. And then in late November, we're in Bahrain. A week later, on the outer course for the Sakhir Grand Prix. And the season rounds out on the 13th of December in Abu Dhabi. Lewis Hamilton leads the Drivers' Championship by 69 points after Valtteri Bottas failed to finish last weekend's Eiffel Grand Prix. He's now in a battle with Max Verstappen. In terms of the midfield teams, a podium for Daniel Ricciardo has promoted him to 4th place. The battle between him, Perez, Norris, Albon, Leclerc and Stroll and Gasly is still very much up for grabs. On the second half of the page, the battle could still include Carlos Sainz, only 2 points away from Pierre Gasly, Esteban Ocon in sort of on a midfield battle of his own, Sebastian Vettel just 17 points to his name, failing to score last time out in Eiffel as well. From Dani Kvyat and Nico Hülkenberg now on 10 points, Giovinazzi 3, Raikkonen on 2, the same as Romain Grosjean, who has finally scored points this year. No points on the board still though for Nicholas Latifi or George Russell. In terms of the Constructors' Championship, Mercedes could wrap it up this weekend if Red Bull score no points. Racing Point versus McLaren and Renault, the battle to watch for over 3rd place. Ferrari sort of on their own on 80 points. The same could be said for AlphaTauri on 67, Alfa Romeo on 5, Haas on 3 and Williams on 0. It's the first Portuguese Grand Prix since 1996. Welcome to the circuit of the Algarve for the Portuguese Grand Prix. Hello everyone, a lot of action coming into today's race. The race just getting underway in about 40 minutes time and a lot of build-up to get through here today as well. It's been an exciting weekend at a brand new circuit for only the 2nd time this year. It's quite similar to Mugello. The drivers describing this place as a roller coaster as you go around, especially turn number 8, the way it drops down. The drivers feel it in their stomachs. But this all began on Friday with 2 very hectic practice sessions. So let's take a look at it now. Well, let's go straight into the first practice report for the Portuguese Grand Prix. And the first one since 1996 kicked off with Mercedes having the battle it was Bottas fastest in FP1 ahead of Lewis Hamilton as well. Max Verstappen in third place, so it looked like the same order as what we're used to in 2020. However, with just 20 of the 90 minutes remaining, both Mercedes drivers went with complete full pace on the soft tyres as well and went up to the leaderboard. There was a few swapping of positions early on as well as the drivers got used to the circuit for the first time. Hard tyres for want of Hamilton's benchmark of a 1:19.526, but in the end it was Bottas who pumped in the fastest time, a 1:18.410 overall. Verstappen, hard tyres as well, shot up to the top of the leaderboard but went down to third, 7 tenths off, nearly 8 tenths off Bottas. He was a number to spin on the track surface as well. Albon was fifth, complaining of low initial speeds. Red Bull, well, Charles Leclerc surprised everyone and put fourth place, splitting the two Red Bulls. Leclerc and Ferrari seem to have genuine pace coming into this weekend. Further below that, we can see the better improvements of Ferrari as well, but Albon might round out the top 5. Sebastian Vettel only in 11th place to be much better on in this afternoon's free practice 2 session. McLaren's Carlos Sainz, 6th fastest as well, the 3rd fastest driver on the medium compound tyres. Perez was P7 for Racing Point. Highest one for Carlos Sainz though, of 42 laps in the first practice session. So that's a quarter of the 3/4 of the race distance done. Absolutely fantastic. Kimi Raikkonen shot to P8 as well in the dying moments of the session for Alfa Romeo, just behind Perez. Esteban Ocon for Renault on the hard compound tyres rounded out the top 10. Pierre Gasly ahead of Vettel overall. Lando Norris behind Vettel in 12th. Kvyat spun with a few dying moments at turn 3, just locked up the rears and went down into 13th place. Haas, well, Magnussen was 14th, faster than Grosjean, who dropped down to 17th. In between, though, we get Lance Stroll, who's recovered from his COVID, little small bout of COVID, which is great news. Williams at the back with Russell and Latifi, and Ocon split them in 19th place. But the new track surface was proving tricky to get used to for the drivers. We saw a load of spins throughout, and that was the main problem in FP1. A lot of spins, a lot of drivers going off the track. 62 lap times in total were deleted throughout the field, and a total of 125 were cancelled on Friday. That is just insane. Let's take a look at the times, though, from FP1. So Valtteri Bottas tops the first practice session of the Portuguese Grand Prix at 1:18.410. Lewis Hamilton is second on a 1:18.749. Max Verstappen third, a 1:19.191. Charles Leclerc fourth, a 1:19.309. Alexander Albon in fifth place, a 1:19.365. Carlos Sainz is in sixth on a 1:19.441. Sergio Perez seventh, a 1:19.907. Kimi Raikkonen in eighth place, a 1:19.954. Then we get Daniel Ricciardo, a 1:20.058, and Pierre Gasly rounds out the top 10 on a 1:20.124. Then we get Sebastian Vettel 11th, a 1:20.2. Lando Norris is 12th, a 1:22.07. Danny Kvyat 13th, a 1:22.78. Kevin Magnussen, a 1:28.46 in 14th. Lance Stroll 15th, a 1:29.54. Antonio Giovinazzi 16th, a 1:21.009. Romain Grosjean in 17th place, a 1:21.69. George Russell 18th, a 1:21.374. Esteban Ocon 19th, a 1:21.673. And Nicholas Latifi is 20th, a 1:22.054. 3.6 seconds separate the field in the first practice session for the Portuguese Grand Prix. Maximum time on the board though, Carlos Sainz, 42 laps completed. On to free practice 2 then for the Portuguese Grand Prix, and it was Valtteri Bottas once again topping the session, topping Friday absolutely dominantly if you ask me. He's looking a strong one coming into this weekend. Second place went Verstappen, Norris third with Leclerc again in fourth and Sainz in fifth. A very strong performance from the two McLarens late on, but it was a very much disrupted session to begin with as well. Gasly pulled up at the side of the track at turn 13, bringing out the red flags because his Honda engine caught fire in a massive plume of yellow and orange flames from the back as well. Marshall's eventually putting the blaze out as well, but it took around about 75 seconds for the entire car to be put out. What happened after the session restarted, with 29 minutes to go, Verstappen on his outlap, let Stroll by. Stroll right round the outside of turn 13, cut off Verstappen, and then after Stroll had completed his lap, the teams didn't realise that actually he was going for a second run to see how the tyres would perform. Verstappen, thinking that Stroll had backed out of it, went to overtake Stroll into turn 1. Stroll turns in, Verstappen turning into the corner already, but the two come together and off the track. Now, that brought out the second red flag. It was out for 18 minutes, a bit unusual because it only had to be craned off the track. We'll have to look to see what's going to happen if that happens in the race when we have a safety car or a red flag. It's very bizarre. But it proves that, one, that DRS zone and the entrance to turn 1 is going to be a very tricky corner to overtake in the race as well, and two, the fact that Stroll wasn't looking where he was going and Verstappen should have backed out earlier on. It was very much a 50-50 in the end. It took us a while to deduce that in our live coverage of practice 2 that you can go back and watch all weekend long. But they were summoned to the stewards, and then they were told that they would be given no further action as it was deemed a misunderstanding and a racing incident. Another incident as well was Daniel Ricciardo having the new test tyres used for the first half an hour of practice 2. All the teams were required to put on the Pirelli test tyres. But Daniel Ricciardo and his mechanics accidentally put the wrong wheels on the wrong side. So his left was on his right and his right was on his left. Not great, I know. But they've only been given a warning for that as well, as there was no initial damage. So that's great news. Moving back to the action then. Verstappen, as I said, already tried to drag out, and I must just say, Verstappen on the radio saying some very derogatory terms, and we must just say that that is not right whatsoever. We can't repeat it, but it's out there online to see as well, but we cannot endorse that in Formula 1 anymore. That's completely no-go area there, Max. I'm sorry about that. Going further down, when the session restarted for the second time, just 8 minutes remained in the session as well. So every driver went out on the track on the soft compound tyres. Bottas didn't improve on his overall time, but a 1:17.940 is the benchmark on the soft compound tyre of the C3, which is interesting to see going on later on. But moving further back, McLaren's Lando Norris on to P3, Leclerc 4th, matched the time he did this morning. Moving further down as well, Ferrari looking good. Sainz was P5. Vettel was 6th. Hamilton dropped way off the pace, but he got a very much disrupted run because of the constant red flag. So practice 3 tomorrow will show us more of that. Top 10 round out by Esteban Ocon as well. And the second Red Bull of Alexander Albon. George Russell was very impressive. 11th place overall, ahead of Racing Point of Sergio Perez in P12. Daniel Ricciardo dropped down to 13th, ahead of Nicholas Latifi. But George Russell in 11th and Nicholas Latifi 14th. That is great news for Williams at a track that should suit their car. Now they've got some money into it. The first 30 minutes of FP2 was utilised for the Pirelli of the blind tyre test of the company's 2021 prototype compounds. There was no meaningful laps done, but we did see some spins as well for Sainz and Perez early on in the session. But what a time today has been. A little dull in places, but when the action was there, it really did hot up. We've got loads of talking points coming into tomorrow for free practice 3, and it's going to be fantastic. It really is determined that, again, coming to a new racetrack like at Mugello where the team's got absolutely no data. It's fascinating. This is a great time. Let's take a look at the times then from FP2. Valtteri Bottas tops Friday then here at Portimao, 1:17.940. Max Verstappen second on a 1:18.535. Lando Norris is third, a 1:18.743, followed by Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari, a 1:18.838. Carlos Sainz fifth, a 1:19.113. Then we see Sebastian Vettel 6th, a 1:19.175. Pierre Gasly 7th on a 1:19.178. Lewis Hamilton further down in 8th place, a 1:19.308. Esteban Ocon in 9th, a 1:19.496. Alexander Albon rounds up the top 10, a 1:19.643. Drop further down the order, George Russell impressing everyone in 11th place, a 1:19.821. Sergio Perez is in 12th place, a 1:19.901. Danny Ricciardo 13th at 1:19.987. Nicholas Latifi 14th at 1:24.65. Kimi Räikkönen 15th for Alfa Romeo at 1:24.90. Followed by Kevin Magnussen in 16th at 1:26.80. Danny Kvyat 17th on a 1:27.29. Romain Grosjean 18th at 1:28.67. Lance Stroll 19th at 1:29.83. And Antonio Giovinazzi is 20th at 1:21.396. So Max Verstappen and Lance Stroll getting away without a penalty. Verstappen has been talked to by Red Bull about his foul language used in practice too. But when Saturday came, the session would be cut short by 1 minute, with Sebastian Vettel running under a drain cover and delaying the start of qualifying. But it was a very interesting session, giving us an idea of what we would be going into for qualifying. Let's take a look back at free practice 3. So let's get into the third practice review then, and straight away, Valtteri Bottas again topping the timesheets here for the Portuguese Grand Prix. A dominant Mercedes as well. Lewis Hamilton dropped down to second place, with Max Verstappen in a close third as well, but he was having some grip issues and the headwind was affecting the top speed of the car. After an incident in FP2 as well, the session was relatively sedate, but it did get more exciting in the end. The session was red flagged with just 2 minutes to go due to Sebastian Vettel bringing up a drain cover at turn 13. There's damage to the Ferrari. They're changing the floor and welding currently back the conditions for the tarmac, so qualifying might be delayed. Track limits again revised after yesterday's 125 lap calculation of deletion of times. But now the drivers are allowed to go onto the curb at the exit of turn 1 and 4. But still, we saw times being deleted in today's session as well. Max Verstappen the most on the medium tyre early on as well. AlphaTauri's Pierre Gasly up in smoke in FP2, but the car was reported to be very good today, which was great news. Charles Leclerc going well overall. McLaren's looking strong. Renault's good as well, but it was an interesting session only at the end. Let's take a look at the times, though, from FP3. So Valtteri Bottas once again tops the session here from Lewis Hamilton in second place, Max Verstappen third, Pierre Gasly fourth, Alexander Albon rounding out the top 5, Charles Leclerc 6th, Carlos Sainz 7th, 8th place on the board for Sergio Perez, Lando Norris 9th and Esteban Ocon rounding out the top 10. Sebastian Vettel is 11th, Danny Kvyat 12th, Kimi Räikkönen 13th, 14th for Danny Ricciardo, 15th for George Russell, 16th for Lance Stroll, must do better to get out of Q1, Antonio Giovinazzi 17th, Kevin Magnussen 18th, Nicholas Latifi 19th and Romain Grosjean in 20th. Qualifying was delayed by half an hour as more and more drain covers were found to be loose around the track. They managed to fix the one down at turn 15, and when the session got going, it was very, very dramatic. It provided us one of the most interesting qualifyings of the season. Let's take a look at the qualifying report. So let's get straight into the qualifying report then for the 2020 Portuguese Grand Prix. And as ever, we'll start off with the first part of qualifying. Mercedes easily cruising through in the end. It was delayed, though, by half an hour. The track damage caused by Sebastian Vettel's Ferrari, the loose drain cover at the last corner, caused a half-hour delay while they filled it full of cement just to make sure nothing else came up. However, several other drain covers came up as they were checking. Thankfully, though, the session was only delayed by half an hour and we eventually got green. First of all, most of the field wasted no time heading back out onto the track as well. Mercedes waited just a couple of minutes to see where the car would stand. Bottas went fastest overall. Hamilton backed out of his run at turn 13 as well, and went up into second place on his second tour. Verstappen cooled down laps as well for another push lap. Hamilton improved to go quickest, just 500ths ahead of Verstappen. The duo both having 6 down laps on their board going forward. Vettel, a lot for him in that session as well. Time deleted for exceeding track limits, but did what was required. Russell improved at the last second to get through into Q2, but out of the session went Alfa Romeo of Kimi Raikkonen and Antonio Giovinazzi. The two Haas cars, Romain Grosjean and Kevin Magnussen, and Nicholas Latifi also get eliminated from the first part of qualifying. On to the second part then of qualifying. Valtteri Bottas again on top, beating Hamilton. But Vettel starts 15th on the grid. A shocking performance from Sebastian Vettel in qualifying. Absolutely ridiculous. But Bottas kept the grip as well. Ferrari and Mercedes starting on the medium compound tyre. That was a very brave choice to go on as well. Ferrari, it seemed the strategy for Leclerc, but Vettel just couldn't get the car working in the low grip conditions and struggled and was back in 15th place as well. Russell in 14th, out qualifying the Ferrari. Great job from Williams. Esteban Ocon as well eliminated along with Lance Stroll and Danny Kvyat. But it was a strange incident for Ocon's teammate, Danny Ricciardo. Coming into turn 13 at the top of the hill, Ocon got out of the way. Ricciardo went too high and too wide, lost the rear span and hit the wall, damaging his rear wing. He would struggle to get out in the next part of qualifying. So, eliminated in that session was Ocon, Stroll, Kvyat, Russell and Vettel. Moving on then to qualifying number 3, Hamilton, for his 97th career pole position, really delivers when it matters. Bottas had the advantage early on, but Hamilton on the last lap managed to deliver a perfect third sector to get pole position. A 1:16.652 was the pole time. Bottas was second, from Verstappen in third, impressing everybody. Leclerc, a very high 4th place. That is brilliant news for Leclerc and Ferrari as they try and chase down a 20-point gap to try and bit third in the Constructors' Championship with 4 races to go after tomorrow. Perez 5th, Albon 6th, Sainz and Norris 7th and 8th, Gasly 9th, and Daniel Ricciardo not setting a time on the board, couldn't get out on the track due to that rear problem he had in qualifying 2 where he damaged the rear wing. He will start 10th on the grid. The drivers are heading to the grid then, ready for the Portuguese Grand Prix. It's going to be a race that is going to be right on the edge of excitement. Ian Burch will join me in the commentary box shortly as we'll call the race. Megan rejoins us next weekend for the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix at Imola. But this is going to be a great race, no doubt about it. Lewis Hamilton starting and Valtteri Bottas on the medium compound tyre, the same as Charles Leclerc. Everyone else in the top 10 starting on the soft compound. We really have no idea what the pit stop's going to be like. It's a 66-lap race. And going forward, it's going to be very interesting to see when the pit stop strategies are going to come into the factors, as well as the overall tyre management. We've never had a race here before. We're going in blind, and it's going to be fantastic. Let's just hope it's not too much like Mugello with 2 red flags, 3 safety cars and 4 restart procedures. It was a fantastic race, but let's keep our fingers crossed for a good one. It's tight and twisty. Turn 1, as we saw with Verstappen and Stroll, is going to provide us with the only DRS detection point on the track, and it's going to show where the track is the weakest in terms of overtaking, because if you go side by side into there and the driver on the left doesn't see you, you're into the gravel trap. And it took 16 minutes to clear Lance Stroll's car on Friday. So are we going to have a safety car for 16 minutes, or are we going to have a red flag for 10 minutes and a restart procedure? Nobody knows what's going to happen. This is going to be a bolt into the unknown. So let's take a look around the circuit of the Algarve, or to mean you, it's Portimao. It opened in 2008, was designed in the early 90s as well as a replacement for Estoril. It was built as a test track for Formula 1 and a racetrack for MotoGP. Neither have come here until this year. MotoGP holding their season finale here in late November. Formula 1 back here, and every driver loves it. So let's take a look around then with James Hinchcliffe's IndyCar on Project Cars.
Let's take a look at the Autodromo Internacional de Algarve, or to me and you, Portimao in Portugal. The first time the race has been held here for Formula 1, and the first time in Portugal since 1996. Riding on board in IndyCar with James Hinchcliffe down towards turn number 1. A quick flick to the right before a longer little straight to turn 2 and turn 3. Heavy on the brakes as you begin to go uphill now. Control the wheel of the slide coming out. A blind apex to turn 4 as you run down to the very long hairpin. Turn number 5 past the hotel on your left. Downhill braking zone. Be careful not to unload the front left tyre and lock up. Run deep into the hairpin, get a good exit speed as you run up now towards the kink at turn 7. Double apex right now for turn 7 and 8. Quite similar to what we see at turn 1 and 2. Easy to have the car understeer. Uphill now towards turn number 8. It's a quick kick to the left-hand side. Another blind apex before turn 10 and 11. Hard now on the brakes into double barrel corner. Drop down the hill towards turns 12 and 13 on the track. Again, it is double barreled, hard to see with a blind apex. Hug the inside line. Now you can get the power on as you drop downhill through the last corner on the track. Full throttle, full power, uphill now. The long drag, the only DRS detection zone on the track. Full power, fling the car to the right and hope for the best as you're onto the start-finish straight, long in the DRS zone and across the line to complete the lap of Portimao or the circuit of the Algarve.
And welcome up to the commentary box then for the Portuguese Grand Prix. Joining me in the box now is Ian Burch. Hello, Dad. You know, you're usually race control for the races. You've done a few in here over this year, but you've come to the box to fill Megan's shoes.
Forced labour.
Yes, sorry. You're stuck. Well,
I'd just like to say good morning, Monday morning in Australia.
Yep.
Good day to you, Australia. You know, it's just gone midnight in Australia. If you're on the east coast of the United States, it's breakfast time. It's 9 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday morning.
Everything's getting ready, isn't it?
Waffles and bacon and all things like that. And we're just after dinner time because we had a extra hour's sleep last night.
And I loved it. I must admit, I woke up this morning thinking to myself, now it's 8:30, but it's 7:30. So I loved it.
In Portugal yesterday, we were on the same time as Portugal.
Still are.
And why have they gone back as well?
They've gone back as well. Same time.
They've gone back as well.
Just because we're on the same line, only just. But we must just point out as well.
And in Russia,
Go
it's 2 hours ahead of us. So, you know, they're mid-afternoon there.
And, of course, we must just explain quickly that we send our sympathies to Vitaly Petrov, whose father was tragically killed yesterday. He's been replaced as the driver steward for this weekend by Bruno Sorolla, who is the Formula E safety car driver.
We were critical of Petrov yesterday and his father, but nobody should pay with their life for an opinion, no matter how awful that opinion. Nobody should pay with their life.
Absolutely agree. So we send our sympathies to the Petrov family and hope to see Vitaly back at some point. Lewis Hamilton just getting strapped into his car. Got about 2 minutes until the World Feed programme starts. But, Dad, a lot of drivers saying today that the track is like ice and they're struggling.
They love this. They love this track. It's new to them. They love things that are new, and it's the new. It's the oil coming out the
surface.
The tarmac.
It's the track temperature decreased from earlier. It's now 26 degrees, 15 miles per hour wind speed. That's insane.
That's the thing. It's the wind speed, and because it's an undulating track, and like you go over one turn, and turn a corner over an hill, and it's like going over Humpback Bridge when you're driving a normal car. The car goes light, and you go light.
It's massively insane, isn't it?
Hugo Light, the new aroma from Hugo Boss. Hugo Light.
So the parade lap coming up soon.
That means it's empty, by the way.
Yeah.
If you actually get Hugo Light off the internet, you'll find that the reason it's light is it's empty.
I didn't know that. I'm sure you do.
So we want Hugo full. So if Hugo Boss are listening, right, our address is... Find it on the internet.
Perez just talking about Max, we can go up on throttle over our radio.
I'm
not sure, but the World Feed just starting.
I'm just reading what it said on telly.
The World Feed just beginning, but Lewis Hamilton today could become a 92-time Grand Prix winner and become the greatest of all time.
We did have this yesterday.
Yeah.
There are times when Lewis has been disciplined for
races taken away
at Michael's expense. His expense and Michael's gain, right? I personally think that it's only the official record books.
Yeah. Michael Schumacher.
Michael was a fantastic driver. I used to love watching. I used to cheer for Michael all the time, just like I cheer for Lewis.
Yeah.
Right. But Michael drove for a team that basically bend every rule to suit themselves. And
that's how
if they can lose a competitor of first place, I'm thinking of the one particular incident where Lewis got a 10-second penalty. Was the or 5
Brazil?
Second,
no, not Brazil. Belgium.
And was demoted. Demoted on the say-so of Ferrari because they were the only ones making a fuss.
And Massa took the different victory. So we're just coming up to the start of... Massa took the win, yeah, pull the top up. So we're just coming up to the start then where we'll welcome our radio listeners to the broadcast.
Do you mean I haven't been...
It's the Portuguese Grand Prix at the circuit of the Algarve on a beautiful island just off the coast. This is absolutely awesome. Formula One has returned to this country for the first time since 1996, a true historical circuit because Drivers' Championships have been crowned here, and the most recent Constructors' Championship crowned here was Williams back in 1992. This track is awesome. The drivers compare it to a roller coaster. The Algarve International Circuit opened in October 2008. It is the 73rd unique venue to feature on the Formula One calendar. And with 15 turns undulating like a roller coaster, Lando Norris is happy at the 2.981 mile circuit. One DRS zone down the start-finish straight will become the crucial point. And turn 1 and 2 at the start will be crucial. The drivers have been comparing this to an ice rink in the past 20 minutes. The track conditions have cooled. The rain is on its way. A 40% chance in the race. The C1, the C2 and the C3 tyres are here. Hard, medium and soft in that order. Let's take a look at how they line up on the starting grid then for the 2020 Portuguese Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton takes pole position, number 97 of his Formula One career. Valtteri Bottas, fastest all weekend, bar Q1 and Q3. Alongside then on the second row, we see Max Verstappen alongside Charles Leclerc. Ferrari seem to be going well here. Sergio Perez fifth alongside Alexander Albon into sixth place. Drop further down onto the fourth row, we see Carlos Sainz and Lando Norris. McLaren, the best of the four teams at the moment, going for third. Then in row 5, it's Pierre Gasly alongside Daniel Ricciardo, who has set no time in Q3 after nearly making contact with Esteban Ocon, who starts 11th alongside Lance Stroll, 12th on row 6. The 7th row sees Danny Kvyat alongside George Russell out-qualifying Sebastian Vettel, starting on the 8th row in 15th alongside his former teammate Kimi Raikkonen. The 9th row, Antonio Giovinazzi starts 17th alongside Romain Grosjean in 18th, and the 10th and last row of the grid sees Kevin Magnussen alongside Nicholas Latifi. We've been having a bit of an interesting run so far this weekend as well. The Drivers' Championship just up now on the left of your screen. Lewis Hamilton leads, and a 90-second victory today, Ian Burch, would see a brand new record. Good afternoon to you, Dad.
Well, I hope Lewis does it today. Just one correction, if not the radio listeners, they didn't hear it.
Yes.
But we're also getting some radio in our headphones.
Yeah.
Correction from Betty in Woolloomooloo. And yes, of course. Yeah, it is Monday morning in Eastern Australia, but it's still Sunday night in Western Australia.
Good point.
And to a certain person, that's just a couple that's just had a baby in Australia, congratulations from us. I'm sure all your family over here who are very close to us are over the moon with it, and we are too.
Absolutely fantastic news as well coming over from Australia. For those of you who just flicked on after watching the MotoGP race, please no spoilers in the comments, because some people are flicking between the MotoGP, the NASCAR.
That's just asking for it.
IndyCar.
They're going to tell you that Alex Marquez won.
Far from it. Now,
I've got to say, Alex is doing fantastic. He is always like a lot of younger brothers in the shadow of his older brother, except me. I'm not now.
Oh, that was evident, wasn't it? Go on, back to you.
Well, I never see him, do I? So
Good point.
and he's
Back to the point.
Anyway,
about Alex and
I still love all my family, even if they I've never.
Moving away, there's the starting tyres for you. Hamilton is on the medium, same as Bottas. The rest of the tyres on the softs, all by Leclerc. That's going to be crucial into turn 1.
Leclerc, yeah. He's really amazed at the number of cats Alex has.
Alex Albon.
Alex has 5 cats and 2 dogs.
And the green flag is out, and the formation lap begins. So that's why you're seeing a green flag on your screen.
Socialise responsible.
For drinking the Heineken sponsor, this downhill section to turn 1. Very reminiscent to Barcelona, very reminiscent to Kota, but in reverse. A one-stop strategy seems to be today. Lap 25 to 35 if you start on the mediums to the hards. If you're on the soft tyres, go to lap 20 to 30. So we're expecting the pit stops to be round about the same time. So it's going to be an interesting way to get this race started.
Vodka and blackcurrant. Thank you, Josh.
Yeah, I thought you needed a pep. Me, on the other hand, I've got something a bit different. Oh, okay.
So let's get this all away.
Well, we'll have to see exactly what the start line will do. How long before a safety car?
But it is breakfast in Australia, not on the east coast of the United States.
Some drops of rain from Pierre Gasly's just been told.
Shh, the west coast of the United States are still asleep.
Good point, but we're going to have to wake up because there's some drops of rain, and that will really anticipate
Wake up, it's
this
a beautiful Sunday, and we've got Formula One. There's the Formula One helicopter that brings us these magnificent pictures, flies in the background. And Lewis has said about the fact that it's very disorientating. There's 2 parts of this track where you actually look upwards and you see the helicopter in your eye line rather than, another car.
Hamilton's backed the pack up massively coming out of the last corner. Verstappen alongside Bottas now, trying to say, let's go. Gasly's reporting rain on the camera lens as well, rain on his visor. There was a 40% chance of rain in this race. And was that a flash of lightning we just saw? What was that?
Well, if it is, we have to curtail this race.
They'll have to.
It's, I remember an IndyCar race in Tacoma, I think.
Yes, they had to delay,
had to be finished 5 months later.
Because of the amount of rain. Yeah, the medical car just lining up at the back. So we are going to go for this one into turn 1. We'll see exactly what's going to happen. A long back straightaway. The safety car exit line is at turn 13. And then we go green at that line there, the start-finish line, which is about 150 metres away from the pole line. So it's going to be a completely different format down to turn 1. We hope you are going to enjoy this one with us because this is going to be a race to remember. 91 Grand Prix victories for Michael Schumacher and Lewis Hamilton, Sebastian Vettel on 53, Alain Prost 51, Senna 41. This is it then. The 2020 Portuguese Grand Prix.
As Latifi lines up at the back.
Well, let's see what he can do. He was a demon starter at Mugello. Are we going to have a similar situation? Turns 1, 2, 3. Right-handers, like an oval. They are lined up on the grid then. Lewis Hamilton going for victory 92. Mercedes are going for a 7th Constructors title. We have 5 red lights on. It's action in Portugal. Good start from Bottas. Hamilton doesn't get the good phase in the first start, but in the second phase cuts across. Stroll immediately under pressure. Perez round the outside. Verstappen to second. Bottas holds off. We've got several cars deciding to go wide as Bottas back on the inside of Verstappen.
Sainz went wide.
Sainz has gone wide. Verstappen's off the track and nearly spinning off as well. We've got cars left, right and centre. Big accident.
Oh, well, yes, we've got
this will stop it.
The pink Merc.
Round goes. I think that was Sergio Perez as well. Hamilton locks up down to the hairpin. Everybody's locking up. No tyre temperature at all. Double lock up. Everybody off the track goes Verstappen as the rain starts to come.
Perez was rejoined, but it looks like he might have some damage on the right rear or left rear, depending on did he actually hit that wall?
I don't know if he did, but Hamilton's backing up massively as well. It's raining here at the Algarve, and it's coming down quite hard. Carlos Sainz up to 3rd place. Verstappen's everywhere. Drivers locking up left, right, and centre. They've got no tyre grip as Carlos Sainz right round the outside of Valtteri Bottas takes 2nd place, and it's Hamilton. It's Bottas leading the race. The timing screens update. Bottas leads from Carlos Sainz. Hamilton's dropped to 3rd. Charles Leclerc under pressure from Kimi Räikkönen. Alexander Albon's moving up. Lando Norris up. It's starting to rain. They've got no grip. They're going to have to either call a safety car or restart the race because everyone's now on treacherous conditions. It's a smooth circuit. It's a bit like what we experienced at Korea in 2010. As soon as the rain comes down, bang, that's it. Here comes Leclerc to the inside. He hasn't got DRS. He's just going to overtake Verstappen with the pure toe. But look at Kimi Räikkönen with the toe behind. It's all more sort of drama. Leclerc locks up. Räikkönen goes wide. Off goes Leclerc. Off in the background goes Albon. Way off goes Esteban Ocon into the background. And the rain coming down. It's a fine rain, Dad, but it's causing a lot of problems.
I'd go to intermediates.
I'd go intermediates for sure. So Bottas leads from Sainz, and it's everyone on the medium tyres who's locking up. Perez pitting. He's put slicks on, I think, as this is Carlos Sainz taking the lead. Carlos Sainz for McLaren leads on lap 2 of 66. He's passed Valtteri Bottas with a tremendous move. And this is now battle on for the race as Sainz on the soft tyre has got more durability in these conditions compared to everyone on the mediums.
A number of small upgrades for the McLaren this weekend, and it's clearly in these damp conditions giving them more grip.
Perez has rejoined. He's put the set of mediums on, so he's just coming for a quick look around to see if there's anything going on. The two Haas cars side by side. Grosjean ahead now of Antonio Giovinazzi. Magnussen's fallen down to 18th place. Grosjean right round the outside, nearly making contact. Giovinazzi passes him, but Grosjean tries to come back on the downhill sweep through the last two corners. Sainz, the fastest lap. Hamilton is really in trouble now into third place. What a start for the Portuguese Grand Prix.
I don't think he's in trouble. I think that he's just struggling for grip, and his experience has meant that he has let the other two through.
This is absolutely spectacular coverage of this Grand Prix already, as Latifi's down to 16th and Hamilton's now going to have to get past Bottas at some point. Sainz has got a 1.3 second advantage. Lando Norris at a 4th place.
The rain is stopping.
Yeah, so we're going to have the drying track, but the problem is the rain came so quickly. Race control. Perez and Verstappen noted, so that's what happened, remember, because Verstappen touched the side of Perez and off into the wall on the opening lap. And Vettel's down to 16th. He dropped massively on the start. And Russell has moved up one place to 13th from when the race started. The helicopter's still up, so that's a positive sign. But that early lap rain has really shaken up what was a boring qualifying yesterday into a great race result.
Sainz has got the fastest lap, which is quite a lot slower than the yesterday's qualifying.
Massively. What was yesterday's qualifying time? I've got to get it here somewhere. 1:16.652. Sainz did a 1:23.466. So yeah, massively off. So the track's still damp after that mini rain shower.
You see, it all depends. The weather map is obviously showing that this is going to dry up quite quickly. The conditions are restricting the speed, obviously.
Yeah.
What we need to do now is just wait 2 or 3 minutes, 2 or 3 laps to see what happens. The first call, it was coming down quite hard. That's why we said that we probably need intermediates. Nobody had any grip on a track that has just been relayed.
Yeah.
Now, oil seeps out. The oil of the tarmac seeps out, and that's what makes it so slippery. But it's amazing the amount of grip the two McLarens are having.
Massive, and that's Norris holding his position to Verstappen. But as you said, Sainz got a great start. Leclerc on the radio. Oh, and this is Norris going wide and Verstappen looking to the inside. Charles Leclerc on the radio saying that they're considering going to the soft tyres. He started on the mediums, remember? So then, because of that early rain that was coming on the formation lap, it's changed the complexion of the race because it could drop at any moment here. That's the problem. There's a massive rain cloud above, and it's all because of a storm blowing in.
Obviously, the rain cools the tyres, and on a track which you need grip.
Yeah.
You need downforce and you need grip. And if you cool the tyres, then you can't get enough speed up, so you don't get enough downforce. And so when you come to the corner, you just slide either the back or the front. On Friday, during practice, the teams were all...
Yeah, Verstappen through on Norris, dived to the inside. He had the DRS advantage. It was easy.
They were all messing about with the bias because of the fact that and everything else to try and get rear grip, which Wasn't happening on Friday.
Ocon saying that they're going to move the balance forward.
Exactly.
Let's take a look at the start. So watch Hamilton on the right. He never got a great launch until the second phase of the start, in which Bottas actually slipped back. So the Mercedes trading place some great starts. Brilliant start from Perez right around the outside. Leclerc skating off, Sainz off the track more. So I'm surprised no one had a look at that for race control. And Bottas forces Verstappen offline, up the hill. Perez turns in, and for the second time this weekend,
I don't see how Max could have done anything about that.
Yeah, for the second time this weekend, though, Max Verstappen comes into contact with a pink racing point, but this time it's Perez, and I don't think Max could have done anything.
I'd like to see an onboard, but the overview from the helicopter suggests that it was just Perez taking the racing line and the lack of grip causing Max to go into them.
Yeah, Perez took the racing line, lap of grip on the opposite, because Verstappen wasn't on the opening line. Bottas round the outside of Sainz into turn 1 to take the lead back at the Portuguese Grand Prix. Sainz now beginning to drop as the track starts to dry. It's Verstappen, a 1:21.965, the fastest lap of the race so far. Hamilton closing back, though, on Carlos Sainz to try and find anything possible to have a chance of getting a 90-second victory.
One of the undulating positives of this track is the fact that because it's undulating...
Ocon, what's happened to Albon and Ocon and Russell as well? They're all dropping further back. And now they've popped back up the order. Yeah, so a transponder issue. Back to you.
So it dries pretty quickly.
Yeah, the new asphalt is just going to dry.
Into those drains that caused so much problem yesterday.
And if it rains heavy, what's the chance of them bringing the water back up and popping up the drain covers again?
Well, they're all glued down now.
Yes, they did go. That's a good point. They did go all over last night and gluing them down. I saw Rachel Brooks when she walked the track show them as well.
Yeah, if you saw some marks on the near Lewis's start line, the only marks on the track, they were caused by Rachel's little brother.
Yeah.
Who in his race in one of the junior categories managed to go off and crash there.
Absolutely bizarre support races.
Unfortunately.
Hamilton pulls to the inside, and look at the straight line speed, even without the DRS opportunity for Hamilton.
The amazing thing is that
Hamilton's a second.
We have learned something today, that the new upgrades to the McLaren work in damp conditions, but they are not working as the track dries out.
And now we're seeing Sainz and Verstappen, both of them on the soft tyres. And let's see if Verstappen's able to breeze past. Kvyat passes Latifi for 17th place as well, as Raikkonen and Leclerc now battling over 6th place as well. That battle closing up. The interval sections as well, showing that we are having some juicy racing all throughout the field. The entire field bunched up in these conditions. Race control, no investigation necessary for the collision between Perez and Verstappen on the opening lap.
Perez is 0.5 a lap different from the leaders,
so he'll catch him quite soon. He'll catch.
Yeah, Perez is he's got 6.9 seconds to make up before he can get to the back of Magnussen. Once he gets to the back of Magnussen, by the look of the ones above him, he will climb up pretty rapidly, but in about 3 or 4 laps to around about 12th place.
I hate to say this, but I've just looked at my watch, which is some more Twitter activity. The rain's coming back, so we might have even more rain as Charles Leclerc looks to the inside of Kimi Raikkonen. That was a lovely run coming into the last corner. Can he hold it? No. Raikkonen chops him off, but Leclerc's going to get a massive toe down the start-finish straight. Meantime, Verstappen dives to the inside of Carlos Sainz in towards turn 1, breezes past. At the same time, Leclerc goes through on Raikkonen. But, well, Sainz was off the track there, so is Verstappen. But Leclerc has got ahead of Kimi Raikkonen for 6th place.
The obvious thing here is that the reason that the McLarens are now... The McLarens were sticking to the track more because their downforce worked best in that damp conditions. Now that they're not in damp conditions, then their downforce isn't as good as the Red Bulls or the Mercedes. And so they're eating them up.
And that's going to be, I think, Sainz and Norris now battling over 4th.
That might be a worrying thing for McLaren, actually, because
if they're not good in the drying conditions and the dries around this church.
Because they were quite good yesterday in practice.
They were. And Hamilton's way off. That was Bottas way off the track.
So what they've done to, because they thought that there would be bad weather, obviously has had a detrimental effect on their car. Because we were really excited when Sainz took the lead. It was lovely to see a McLaren lead the race again.
They're on the right track, aren't they?
Yeah, it shows that after all the bad years at McLaren, they're back there, and this is just a minor thing. They can adjust something.
Grosjean's not liking the rear end of the car. It's jumping around like a horse, he says. So he's giddy upping in the Haas car.
Ricciardo coming really on the back of
Raikkonen
now. I expect that to
there you go.
Overtake.
And that's the right. Ricciardo has passed. Ricciardo has passed Raikkonen, but at the same time, that is Charles Leclerc getting past Lando Norris for 5th place. So they've now moved in positions as well on the start-finish line area. Hamilton's got 1.7 seconds to catch up to Bottas to overtake. Replay, and this was Leclerc getting through on Lando Norris, a breezing move. I would rather see Raikkonen and Ricciardo, as you were pointing out. Oh, here we go. Thank you, Mr. Director. Pulls to the inside. Raikkonen defending the inside. Ricciardo right round the outside into turn 1. That was a lovely move. Very nice.
Yeah, it's so easy to overtake when you in that situation when you've got the grip and the power. But a lot of people wouldn't have had the nerve.
Yeah. Stroll says he's losing the rear tyres already.
It's a great Danny Rick move, that, in a drying track.
Yeah. Talk 12 being told now for Stroll. So they're going to change tyres soon. I think everyone's going to change tyres. Because look at the blistering already happening on the back of Alexander Albon. Meantime, Gasly is closing up behind Raikkonen. And he'll have the DRS. So Raikkonen again, as we saw, slipping back through the field. That Alpha just got no pace.
It's not good for the tyres that have just come out of a warm tyre bag to actually then be, because they're not the same tyres that they go to the grid on. The tyres from practice 2 yesterday that they did their fastest lap on are put on, and they're all in tyre warmers, and then all of a sudden they start and they've got rain which cools and cracks them,
and everyone locked
then they
up.
start locking up and sliding, and that damages the tyres. And so we might see early pit stops here.
Lock up for Raikkonen. He's just been passed as well by Gasly. And Raikkonen's all over the place. Raikkonen was the one who did that massive lock up in the hairpin at turn 5.
I think the lads on the softs, which are 2/3 of the top 10, might just have to go in round about lap 15.
Black and white flag for car 18, Lance Stroll.
So
what is that, track limits?
What damage has he got?
No, that's
not track limits.
It must be track limits, not meatballs. He must have gone off the track several times. But that was Verstappen on the radio saying that his rear tyres are going as well. They all locked up on the opening lap, coming down the hill into the hairpin. As you said, they were bottoming him out and had no brakes and no tyre temperature. So why have we got the black and white flag for Lance Stroll? We're trying to look at the graphics to see if we can see anything. No idea. No clue. Black and white flag for car 18 Stroll. That was on lap 9. And yes, it's because he's repeatedly gone over the track limits at turn 4. Stroll deciding that he wants to create his own racetrack.
Charlie Leclerc behind Sainz.
The front left is not going to last very long. Verstappen again saying that he's not happy on the radio. He's not going to have to pit soon.
Charles Leclerc's front left is looking very dicey.
You can see it as well. Anthony Davidson just saying the same thing we were. It's for black and white flag for Lance Stroll due to track limits as well. And this is Pierre Gasly. Must have been him making the move on...
He's actually fitter than I thought he would be.
Yeah, Ricciardo.
After having COVID, Stroll. You've got to be a bit lenient with him this weekend.
Yeah, and this is Stroll.
He's actually doing a lot better than we thought he would.
He's just made a good move on Kimi Raikkonen. Raikkonen defending the inside line a lot, but it's like he's getting out of the way more than defending because the racing line is where it's just straight ahead into turn 1. And this is Sainz versus Leclerc over 4th and 5th place. And this could be Leclerc having a bigger advantage to catch back up.
When Stroll was braking there, you could show a lot of shakes on the wheel.
Yeah.
Suggesting that when he's braking, it's not exactly even braking. And that must be because the tyres are worn at different amounts.
Yeah. And that was Leclerc making the move on Sainz into turn 1. And Albon is now getting through on Ocon. That's Raikkonen going into the pit lane. So Raikkonen now pits. And that is Albon trying to make a move, but 3 abreast further back. Vettel trying to get past Giovinazzi at the same time, get past Russell. And that was almost carnage. Raikkonen in the pits, drops right back.
Was that downhill?
Yes, downhill
just
one.
Did that.
Yeah.
So obviously he's got more grip when he gets to the bottom to brake with. So he was confident to do that. So that proves the track is drying.
Yes. So the track is getting a lot drier. So that early sprinkling of rain delivered us an interesting start, but now we're going to have to wait and see how the normal race develops. This track, very much like Mugello, it's a roller coaster at the moment. Lap 22 plus 1. So I think Hamilton's planning to pit lap 23. That's an awful long time to let those mediums go.
Charlie Boy's tyres, he's got to change them within the next 5 laps because of the fact that...
Yeah, he's getting close back, and there's rain clouds coming in over the back.
He's got mediums like the 2 Mercs and Stroll and Ocon, right, of the top 10.
Yeah.
You've got half of them on mediums, half of them on softs. The softs seem to be gone completely.
And Verstappen's left front is dead. So Verstappen's going to have to pit soon. Meantime, Lando Norris gets passed by Gasly. But meantime, further back, Stroll's trying to pass Ricciardo into turn 1. And Stroll sweeps around the outside with a lovely move. We saw Ricciardo dive towards the pit wall to try and defend. But Stroll, already passing Raikkonen, knew where to go.
Yep, as we just said, the softs have gone completely.
Yeah.
So Stroll, even though he's having brake problems when he brakes, it's an uneven brake because there's clearly the left-hand tyres are a lot worse than the right, and so you give things, but
yeah.
he's using the tactics to gobble up all these soft tyre lads in front of him, and he's using a bit of intelligence there. That's good. Getting a position better by knowing the weaknesses of your opposition.
So next up for Stroll would be Lando Norris, who's in a close battle with Gasly and Sainz.
You see, Sainz, Gasly and Norris are all on the softs, and you can see that the softs are bubbling up.
Yeah.
There's lines appearing on the left front tyres of most of the softs.
Oh, tyre performance graphic says that the left-hand side of the car of Verstappen's is dead. So already that's a disaster.
As I was saying, the left-hand side, look at that. 40-30 on the right, 10-10 on the left.
Yeah. And the AWS has done a lot of work with those tyre graphics. They are now back up to date, so they are actually more reliable compared to last year. But, so Verstappen's got to pit soon. And Vettel now passes Russell in a battle that I was developing over the last couple of laps. He's got no grip at all.
Well, if you had a lot of grip on the right-hand side and not on the left... You tend to move as you brake on a corner, especially when you're coming downhill.
And the wind has changed direction now as well. Where it was a tailwind going into turn 1, it's now a crosswind into turn 1. So it's completely changed, and it's increased. 15 kilometres now. It was 10 when it started.
On Friday, the softs were having a problem with this gravel.
Oh, yeah, Leclerc spun and cut the tyre, didn't he?
Yeah, and so, with the tyres, look at that tyre on the left-hand side.
This is Ricciardo's on board, and it's nearly dead.
Ricciardo's softs on the limit.
Sainz was just asked if his front wing is okay. He said yes, so he must have had damage somewhere. But Stroll now right behind Norris on the track, and this is Sergio Perez, I think we're watching
9/10 between Norris and Stroll. Still a little bit to do.
Down to turn 1. It was Lance Stroll we were looking at, and Ricciardo pits. So Ricciardo into the pit lane then from 11th place.
First one in on lap 15.
Hamilton's left front now saying it doesn't feel that great. So Lewis Hamilton wanted to come into the pit lane now. First stop on the concrete then for Renault and Danny Ricciardo. Oh, he's tailing away. They've had to put an extra line of tarmac down the centre of that pit lane just so that they can get out without spinning up on the concrete. So it's mediums, but it was slow.
So it's basic science, isn't it? That if you heat something up and then when it's, and then cool it down rapidly, quickly, then the surface cracks. And that's what's happening. And obviously the soft tyre is not as good as the medium tyre here. And so the soft tyres, although Bottas and Hamilton might have a few problems and Leclerc, right, they're still actually getting a lot more grip than the others. But all of them have had this cool down process after being warm, so have cracked the surface, which has led to lockups. It's led to brake problems, and I'm not surprised Ricciardo's gone in after 15 laps. I predicted it.
Hamilton has just set the fastest lap of those mediums. They can't be that dead yet. And what is it? 1:21.421. Still nowhere near the race pace of yesterday or the race pace of FP2 when we were doing 1:20s constantly. And this
Danny Ricks dropped to 19th place after that.
That was Norris sorry to crush you there. That was Norris defending the inside line into turn 1. Stroll had to massively back out of it and lock the front tyre just a little bit. And now up the hill towards turn 4, and the hairpin at turn 5 will have him here. He's got to. Back to your point.
As Raikkonen also pitted.
Raikkonen did pit, yeah. 1 lap on mediums.
Yeah, so they both pitted. So whoever pits from that 5th, 6th, 7th place are going to fall right to the back.
And this is why they're all sort of trying to hold on as long as possible, is not pitting, in order to keep the strategy out for longer, effectively. So we're really in a bizarre situation.
Like all racing drivers, you gamble.
Yeah, they've got to gamble. They've got nothing else to lose in this race. Well, Hamilton's won the championship already, effectively. He's 69 points clear of Bottas, and he'll probably win it next time out at the Imola Grand Prix, at the Emilia Romagna. But it's closing, and Hamilton does a 1:21.3.
I hope so, because he deserves it.
He does, yeah. And this is Albon radio. Let's just listen. So medium's now starting to grain. So the medium's now starting to grain as well for Albon.
Which is what we were saying.
Yeah, which is another problem as well, massively.
Yeah, they're listening to us, aren't they?
Yeah, didn't even have to turn it up because it's on here as well. Sainz having to defend from Gasly. He's trying to go right round the outside to turn 1. We know how that one turns out. We saw pretty much all of it on Friday. So the rain actually on the opening lap of the race, as we see the fans packed into this venue at the moment, it's great to see them back and not have empty grandstands here. Portugal under different regulations with COVID. It's allowing more than 10,000 spectators in per every 2 days, which is fantastic.
Magnussen's the only one on the hards.
Yes, and I'm surprised he's further down, to be fair.
Yeah, but that won't come in to be a benefit until all the others start to go in and pit.
Grosjean and Magnussen are swapping places at the moment. But I agree with you. Magnussen hold on for a while longer.
Does that mean that Haas are trying to do this on one less pit stop than the others with Magnussen?
I think we've known now. It was predicted a one-stop. I
Look
think
at
we've
that,
seen it, yeah. That's Verstappen with a completely worn and almost threading front right tyre. And yet, and look up again for Stroll on the front left. It's just costing him more and more. Rain clouds coming in, and there's a little specks of rain on the lens of Lance Stroll, so we'll keep an eye out for that. But
Max Verstappen is obviously doing this gamble that we talked about.
Yeah.
It's not to do with money. It's trying to eke out as many laps as possible on really bad tyres.
Stroll, that was Sainz trying to hold off from Gasly, but has Stroll managed to get past, massively out braking into turn 1. Lando Norris, and he's hit him. Oh, well, isn't that a carbon copy of Friday? Lance Stroll again doing it into turn 1. He got in the toe, didn't he, with the DRS?
Yeah.
Massively out dragged him down the hill to Norris, and then Stroll just turned into him. Again, I'd love to see the offboard, but once again, Lance Stroll making contact almost identical to FP2. And now Vettel's up the inside, and it's a broken front wing, and God knows what it's done to Lando Norris at the moment. And really, that's got to be Stroll already got the black and white flag, didn't he? One more incident, he'll get the black flag. So that might be a black flag for Stroll if the stewards deem him involved. Let's take a look offboard.
Let's take a look.
So Norris is on the racing line. Stroll just gets fantastic drag, but he turns into him. That's exactly what he did to Verstappen on Friday.
Yeah, and because of the conditions, I don't think...
and he's broken Lando's front wing.
I don't think Lando was able to actually back out of that.
And Lando's saying that's bloody idiot. Look, he just got fantastic toe down to turn 1, got on the curb, couldn't brake, and then decided, bugger it, I'll turn in and see what happens.
I think he expected Lando.
Hang on. What's happened? Sorry to crush you here. Hamilton's closed up dramatically. He's just got a second and a half to Bottas.
Yeah.
I think Bottas has had a lockup. Norris is into the pit lane. That's not going to cost him as badly as we think.
I think, as we said earlier, that Valtteri was having grip trouble. Now,
oh, yeah, he was off, wasn't he? He was way wide out of the back half of the track.
This is just a matter of time.
Yeah, Hamilton's going to get through as he's closing at the top of the hill. Norris and Stroll in the pit lane.
Lewis has a bit of a lock-up as well, a bit of a slide at the top of that hill.
So now this is the long sweep down towards turn 13 and 14, the DRS MP15. So this will be probably our only battle as Norris and Stroll under investigation for that collision. Here comes Lewis Hamilton, though. He has the DRS on his teammate Valtteri Bottas, who somehow has managed to close down the second gap. Bottas goes to the pit wall to defend hard. Hamilton swoops round the outside. Bottas has nothing, and Hamilton brilliantly takes the lead of the Portuguese Grand Prix. But he's just run over the debris. Let's hope he didn't pick up a puncture.
Valtteri there doing the sensible thing, backing out of it.
Yeah, because it was too early in this race to start battling wheel to wheel.
But
oh, that was Ricciardo's radio again that we're just hearing. So this is Hamilton again, pulling inside. Look at that, fantastic drag from Bottas. Even put him in the cement dust from the new grates that have been put down. But Hamilton, having none of it, kept his throttle in. And with the TRS, risking a move like that.
Lewis confident of his brakes at the bottom of this hill.
Yeah, because he threw the car in and just avoided the debris. This is Verstappen. No, this is Albon pitting, sorry. And look at that. The mechanic just got his gun off in time, didn't he, before the rear wheel started
Very
spinning.
quick.
Yeah, fantastic. I'd love to know the time. It was 1.92 last time out, and it was a world record. What was the pit stop time overall? It's not showing us at the moment. Russell into 9th. He's past Giovinazzi. I'm not sure what the pit stop time was, unfortunately. So we'll keep on going for forward places as Perez now closing up the back. So the medium strategy is open for a one-stopper. This might save them all, but who's still on the softs? Verstappen, Gasly and Sainz still on the soft tyres as Hamilton, a 1:21.131, sets the fastest lap of the race.
What are we looking for the mediums? Lap 20, 25 to 30?
Yeah, for medium tyres to pit, yeah.
Which, Perez has quite a few of those are still to get out that he's just passed. So Perez is back up into just behind the midfield. So he's the leading of the rear group at the moment. And when he pits, right, it's
going to be interesting to see.
It's going to be quite interesting. I think he might be able to take Kvyat.
Gasly passing Sainz down towards turn 1. Oh, pull to the inside very late. And that, Lance Stroll, is how you pull off a move round the outside into turn 1. That was superb. I think Stroll, what happened to Stroll and Norris was too similar to what happened to Verstappen. And I think he might get a penalty for that. Perez round the outside now of Kvyat with another move that Lance Stroll should be looking at of how to do, turn 1. And Lando Norris now on plan B. So, long game going. So he's on hards now to the end of the race. And it's raining again. Carlos Sainz has said, okay, it's starting to rain again. So immediately, this is going to play into the advantage of everyone who hasn't pitted yet, which is half the field, thinking about it, if they have to put on inters. Where's Stroll now?
And
Stroll's
if we have a safety car, which
point.
nobody has suggested at the moment, right, we've got some very old tyres out there and some people taking some big chances, especially that break down in as you come off the hill and you brake late
into 1 and 2, yeah.
Which is possibly what caused the collision. Actually, let's see the replay.
This is Sergio Perez actually first of all, and this is how he just got a move done into turn 1 on I think Danny Kvyat, sorry, into turn 1 right round the outside.
Yeah,
a great move.
I think Stroll was trying the same thing but didn't have enough grip.
Yeah, and he was. And Leclerc's on the radio just telling him it's raining. Okay, so that's interesting. Just to cut across you there, I don't know who I'm cutting across there. I was talking over the radio, I just got confused. What's happened is Leclerc's race director, his engineer, just said to him, no rain expected, box this lap. And Leclerc's come on the radio saying, it's raining. It's raining.
And clearly didn't look at the map that we was just shown because it said 2 minutes time, a few drops of rain.
There it is. It's on the camera lens at the last corner. It's raining. And the Brawleys are going up in the grandstand. Boy, I've missed the fans because it shows us where... Look, the coats are on and everything. I've missed the fans. They're all socially distanced with their masks on as well. Everyone is hand sanitising. They're all given a free bottle of hand sanitizer when they come into the venue and leave the venue as well. They've got complete... as best they can to get the fans in. And it's fantastic to see. Bottas now, what's he done? Oh, look at the rear left tyre. That's done. It's got a massive rip on it on the back.
Which explained why Lewis had better grip.
Massively better grip, yeah. So I wonder where that was. That must have been over the curbs, downhill section somewhere. So it's raining. Turn 15, light rain. And that was the radio, I think, from Ocon.
Of course, on
was.
Friday during
Max,
practice, that was turn 15 was the one that we were all having problems with.
Yes, and it's even in the track limits here of where to not go off the track several times. Norris and Stroll's under investigation, remember, so we'll have to wait to see if Stroll gets a penalty for that. Remember, Stroll was given the black and white flag. One more instant, he'll be given the black flag. So if he's determined to cause that crash, he'll get a black flag.
So obviously the strategists are saying no to changing the tyres
until the rain.
Until the rain is actually things, because we said that the mediums would be coming in around about 25 to 30. We're on 23 now.
So they're all now having to stay out as long as possible. The rain increasing up the hill now. Perez just did a fantastic move on Giovinazzi for 10th place into turn 1. And we've got a little train forming now. Lando's just been told that he's taken 4 or 5 laps to get the hard tyres operational. So watch out for Lando Norris, actually. He doesn't have to stop again. So unless it rains harder for Inters, and he could jump up the field. And he's on hotter tyres as well.
Valtteri acting as a little buffer now.
Verstappen pits. And big lock-up. That was from Kvyat into the pit lane. Time penalty for Lance Stroll plus 5 seconds for causing the collision with Lando Norris. And that is Verstappen putting on a new set of medium compound tyres. Gasly to 4th, Sainz to 5th. Well, this is going to be interesting because if it's raining hard enough, Verstappen could be flying off the circuit. You've got to be careful. It's raining out there.
Yeah, it's gradual increase for Hamilton's lead over Bottas
3.2,
because of that rear tyre. But Valtteri has such something like a 15-second gap between him and Leclerc.
Verstappen's been told to go strap 8. And he's racing Ocon, which he is now because Ocon's right behind him as well at the exit turn 5. Look at the sliding that Verstappen's doing. Those tyres not up to temperature. As you say, they've just been heated up in the tyre blankets. They've been put onto a cold track temperature, and it's showing. Hamilton fastest lap. And
yeah, Lewis.
Oh, so Hamilton's tyres have come back to him?
Yeah.
No, there's nothing else on the radio. I thought there was. Hamilton 1:21.023. So, yeah, Hamilton's tyres have come back to him. That's brilliant news going forward as well to show us exactly what the conditions are like out there. Fastest lap's not raining that hard enough yet, but it will. This is going to be on again, off again, isn't it? All throughout this Grand Prix as the rain clouds again forming at
Mercedes have got to pit Bottas in the next couple of laps.
Yeah. They've got to just to get
otherwise they
themselves.
might lose him.
Yeah, they've got to recover themselves now. Actually, from Leclerc.
I feel that rear right is critical.
Yeah. Oh, Hamilton on the. So Hamilton's saying if we've got no more rain coming, Bono's saying it's not on the radar, but we can see it.
We've seen the radar. Obviously, they've got a different radar to.
Which one is right? And this is the incident at turn 1, which caused the accident. And that was Stroll massively outbraking himself down the hill. That was my leg. Watch this. So he pulls to the inside very late, deciding to go for the manoeuvre. Had to brake over the rumble strips and then just turned in on Leclerc. Sorry, turned in on Stroll. I'll try that again. Turned in on Norris, did Stroll. And yeah, that's a penalty in my book. And I think that just proves what I was saying on Friday as well. Stroll must have turned into Verstappen. Because he's done it twice now. In the same place.
I think it's his judgment.
Yeah, it's just he's not looking at his
mirrors.
mirrors.
He's just had COVID.
Yeah, he's not fit enough yet.
He's not fit enough. He's not match fit, as they would say in football.
I'm surprised Hülkenberg, who is here, isn't actually driving. Oh, Norris. That was Sainz on the radio saying that was something with the engine. But now they're trying Plan A. So they was repeating that Plan A over the radio. So we'll keep an eye on to see what Sainz is going to do. Is he pitted yet, Sainz? No. Still on the soft tyres, same as Gasly. The only 2 left on the soft tyres in this race. How they lasted 26 laps, I do not know.
Only Perez and Verstappen have pitted in the top 10.
And Hamilton saying the showers in the distance at turn 8. Bono saying that they'll just miss the track and they'll pass over.
Yeah, he's saying that what Bono's saying is the periphery of the rain cloud will hit the edge of the track and not be a problem.
Which is great news for us to keep the race on, as Hamilton's leading by 4 seconds now and he's not pitting anyone yet. Kvyat comes into the pit lane now and releases Norris.
Russell saying the same thing. Russell's just over the radio. Big rain cloud
but who's
shower.
right? Who's right? Bono is saying the edge of the cloud will hit, but not the centre of the cloud.
But Lewis and George are saying that it's coming into the track. Well, I'd love to stay on
But
board.
what it has meant is that all the medium tyre people are keeping out.
Yeah, as long as
just
possible.
in case.
So, yeah, that's why. I think they're all overruling them. So this is coming up now to turn 8 and 9. Trying to have a look in the distance.
They're after someone losing grip, having a crash, safety car, and free pit stop.
I can see the showers just about as soon as that into the pit lane. Carlos Sainz now. So Sainz pits.
Yeah, we heard a few laps ago that Carlos was having problems and they changed him to plan A.
So that must be a one-stop medium. So the B plan was obviously if it was raining. So Sainz now puts a set of mediums on. He'll be much quicker. Hamilton's now complaining that the left rear tyre is starting to slide as well. Sainz will come out and should be battling. Oh, actually, who is that? Is that Giovinazzi? Yes. Yes, it is Giovinazzi.
This will not play into Bottas if Hamilton pits first.
No.
For Valtteri to do any good, he's got such a bad rear right tyre that he needs to pit in the next couple of laps.
This is going to be a
lap
massive
30.
slide.
I know they're trying to last out to lap 30 to Bottas.
Yeah.
And they're trying to last out to lap 34 with Lewis. It's obvious that, but you know, they need to do it, and they need to do it quick.
It's raining in the pit lane now. There's spots of rain on this camera lens as well, so it's raining down the start and finish straight, but not as heavy. It's just literally a few droplets. It's if it decides to have a continuous sprinkle like he did at the start of the race that we start seeing carnage.
The talent of Gasly doing that on a soft tyre.
Yeah, where is he at the moment? He's P4 on the softs, and he hasn't pitted. Black and white flag for Ricciardo, turn 13-14. I think that was just told. Oh, Vettel locking
up on the way, and just a little tap of the brakes too hard as he's getting in for the pit lane limiter.
He's putting softs on. Oh, no, hards. Hards. So Vettel will be good. George Russell.
There's a sensor there that if you miss it and brake too late, you've got to brake a little bit harder than you normally do. And you're getting rid of those tyres anyway. So it's just dramatic.
Ricciardo sweeping round the outside of Kevin Magnussen into turn 1, but here comes the rain again all around the circuit. But I must just point out what a fantastic job George Russell's doing. He's P8 at the moment in the Williams, and at the moment hasn't stopped.
No, he hasn't stopped. Giovinazzi's just behind him. He hasn't stopped either.
Raikkonen on the inside of Kevin Magnussen at the hairpin. That was an easy move up the inside, and the rain starting to come down as Raikkonen I've just seen him. Look, it's raining at the hairpin. Raikkonen just put his hand over his helmet and wiped it, and now we're just hearing from, it's a slippery track surface. So the oil flag has gone out, the red and yellow line flag has gone out. So it's now raining heavy. It's not raining heavy, it's just raining around the circuit. So that's going to be interesting.
It seems to be on the far side of the circuit, as Bono suggested.
It's a small track,
and it
though.
doesn't seem to be as heavy as people are thinking it might be.
Well, that rain cloud. Look, there it is. Look, rain. It's raining. And now what do they do? Into the pit lane comes Gasly. He's putting a set of mediums on. Clap, clap from Gasly. That was a fantastic stint for those tyres. Russell stays out. Giovinazzi comes in. But now the trackside cameras are detecting the rain. The stewards have put the rain signal on. And now we just sit back and wait because this track is slowly going to release the oil. And maybe they don't need the inters for the rain. Maybe they need the inters to just clear the oil. That's a question. Fastest lap for Hamilton, a 1:25.37. So the conditions now optimum for the mediums. And Sainz just being told that you can start to rein them in. Has Sainz pitted yet? I'm having to look at the board. Yes, he has. He's on the medium, so he can start to pull him in. Hamilton, right, okay, this is getting crazy. Hamilton's saying it's raining. Bono, who's in the garage, is saying he's seeing nothing on the radar, but it's raining. The stewards have said it's raining. So I just do not know what is going on now.
Lewis has got the fastest lap.
Yeah, so he's feeling more confident in these conditions, Lewis, and that might be the bonus point as well for fastest lap, remember.
The gap between him and Bottas is now 7.2.
But Leclerc's closing in on Bottas as well. The gap between them just 16 seconds, less than a pit stop, and the rain is coming.
over the circuit. But interesting, that board has now gone off.
It's Russian roulette. They're waiting for a safety car.
Yeah, as to who's going to fly off the track first, or even a safety car for the rain.
And it could be Bottas that flies off the track. That rear tyre is stripping. It's there's a line appeared on it, and it is stripping off.
Here comes Ricciardo. He's had to pull over to the inside, pulls to the extreme left of the track to get ahead of Gasly down to turn 1. It's the right-hand side as we look at it. It's the left-hand side from us. Black and white flag for car 8, Grosjean, track limits. So again, the naughty boy flag saying you must remain in. And look at that. They were so slow through turn 3. They're all slow through turn 3 up the hill where the rain is. And time penalty. Who's this for? Lance Stroll. Another 5 seconds.
Is that a second 5 seconds, or is that a repeat of the first?
I'm not too sure. Track limits.
Track limits. It is a second 5 seconds. That's a 10-second stop at his next pit stop.
And that could be even worse as well. Well, Lance Stroll, what are you doing? Well, you must admit, if it was his dad, if his dad didn't own the team.
I just think that it's amazing that he's actually racing this weekend and not Hulkenberg.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that he's had COVID after all.
Gasly's not happy. Gasly's not happy that he was put into traffic and Ricciardo passed him, and now Raikkonen is locking up left and right all around the track. This is amazing, this Grand Prix, and we're nearly at half distance as well. It's flown by completely. As look at it, there's a sort of camera photographer taking a flash.
Can I ask the
dark
question?
out there. Back to you.
How come Bottas is on 33 laps mediums?
Hamilton did 2 laps, remember, extra in qualifying. Because he locked up on the first run. Do you remember? So
I do now.
Yeah,
I understand that.
Hamilton,
yeah, I understand that now.
Hamilton's and Leclerc must have done the same because he's the same as Hamilton.
Because Lewis actually said in the press conference, didn't he, after the race, that he was surprised that Valtteri only did 1 lap instead of 3 like he did.
Yeah, that's who you'll be watching out later on in the race to see if that's an advantage. They still haven't pitted yet. They are, as you say, they're playing Russian roulette out there. When's the rain going to come? It seems to have gone away again as well. That's the interesting factor. Gasly's really not happy on the radio, is he? That's a replay. So, yeah, okay, the team now replying to Pierre Gasly saying that Ricciardo would have passed him anyway in the pit stop. Vettel has just been lapped by Lewis Hamilton. That's not good news, is it, for Sebastian Vettel, who's in the last 7 races has only scored 1 point.
Yeah, Norris, Giovinazzi, Grosjean, Kvyat, Latifi and Stroll have all now been lapped by Lewis and in a few seconds by Valtteri.
Bottas has actually increased that gap to 10 more seconds. It's now 26. So Hamilton and Bottas have increased their speed because Leclerc's now dropping back.
Well, Verstappen has already made his pit stop, the first pit stop. Right, and he is 39 seconds away from Bottas.
Yeah, so it's closing, isn't it?
And
2 seconds.
45 seconds for
that's going to be contact. That was very brave from Sainz, but it's going to lead to contact if he's not careful. Raikkonen's on the inside line. He's 2 and 3. Sainz on the outside at all points of the track, and they're still side by side at the top of the hill at turn 4. Raikkonen, the camera angle with a stupid director. Here we go, look. To the inside, Sainz cuts back on Raikkonen. Raikkonen had him all the way up the hill, and now cuts back to the inside. This is a great race. Raikkonen looking into the mirror, thinking, where are you going to go this time? Sainz pulls downhill towards, but Raikkonen holds him back. Great racing from Kimi Raikkonen there. But unfortunately, the director was stuck on Carlos Sainz's rear camera, so he couldn't see Raikkonen's initial turns 1, 2, and 3 defence, which was fantastic. As 1 ball with Hamilton, I think. Or is this Bottas? I'm not too sure. This is Bottas.
What I'm thinking is...
Oh, my God. Bottas on the radio saying, I have a warning on the dash. Cool the car. It's half distance in the Portuguese Grand Prix. And no wonder he's having the issue because those tyres are dead. He's having to rev the car more. And he's slowing it as well. They didn't reply, did they?
I think we're about to lose Bottas.
Yeah, he retired last time out of the Nürburgring, remember, with similar sensor problems. And now look at this, got an entire train. As here comes Carlos Sainz for part 2, down towards turn 1. Gets in ahead of Kimi Raikkonen this time. Meanwhile, Hamilton's joining the battle to start lapping some cars. And I think, was that Ricciardo who just had to let him through? No. Yes, no. Who was it who had to let him through? It was a Renault, but I'm not sure which one. It might have been Ocon.
It was Ocon, I think.
Lovely, thank you for that. I couldn't see where it was. Oh, it's Albon. It's Albon. as Hamilton now deals with Raikkonen.
That's a Red Bull.
Yeah, so it wasn't the Renault. It must be Albon then, who's in 12th place, just behind
I
the
wasn't
battle.
looking. I'm looking at this thing. Now, can I ask you, because purple sector for Verstappen.
Oh, wow. What is it? 30.952.
Yeah, so in the middle sector. So he's already made his stop because he had to.
Yeah.
How long is the in and out?
Bottas, in and out here about 25 seconds.
Right, so Lewis has got enough time to go in and out.
Here comes Perez on the run. This is Perez trying to get past Esteban Ocon for 5th place. Perez round the outside. No, that's going to be contact for sure. How did they not make touching there? That's because Ocon held him through. And this again, amazing racing at turn 1, 2, 3. Ocon has the inside line, swoops across Perez. Perez now going to go high line through 4 and down to the hairpin at turn 5. Ocon defends the inside line. Perez goes to the right and the outside line. Ocon locked up. Perez has to go a little bit wider. And now, drag race up the hill. Who's going to have the inside line? It'll be Perez who gets ahead. Ocon stays with him. They've been side by side for 8 corners until finally Perez gets ahead. But Ocon might just come back down the hill. No, that was brilliant battle. More of that, please, Portimao. Raikkonen saying on the radio as well that he was being held up by a lot of cars as well, as finally into the pit lane for the first time. After 35 laps comes Charles Leclerc.
Ocon has got to do better than that.
Yeah.
That was too sensible a driving.
No forcing off the track at all. There was no aggressive.
It was complete defensive driving with no purpose. He virtually knew from the, I'm just going to do a bit of a show here, but there was no aggression from him there. Yeah. Right, to keep that place.
Leclerc's come back out. He's put the hard tyres on, so Leclerc's good to the end of the race. And this is Ocon versus Perez round 2. Not this time. So Perez gets 5th place. Ocon dropping back. Has either of them pitted yet? Okay, Perez has pitted. Ocon hasn't. So Perez on much fresher mediums compared to Ocon.
Yeah, because Perez has the accident in the first thing and had to
stop,
spin round and then had to battle through the things to about 9th place and then go in. And,
good point. Forgot about that. So this is
he's recovered
right
well. This is why Perez is in such demand.
Yeah,
from these medium-sized teams.
I wouldn't be surprised if we saw him at Williams next year, maybe replacing Latifi, or if, as I said, the rumours are true, Russell's going elsewhere, but somewhere in Formula One.
Yeah, but also there was an incident with when Christian was being interviewed yesterday, where he said we might have to look outside. And Perez, it would be the perfect candidate
in the Red Bull.
Because Alex Albon has been given the next 2 races to prove himself. If they're going to do that, they're going to look at Perez when Perez is doing things like he's just done.
Perez is 5th in the Racing Point, a car very similar to the Mercedes and the Red Bull.
This is the lad that that got spun round was last.
Oh,
he's made his pit stop and he's 5th.
That's interesting from Racing Point. They've put their pit garage as sort of an angle to come in, so it's easy to get out. That's interesting. Yeah. But that was the 10-second time penalty, 5 seconds served for Lance Stroll. So that's dropped him 20th.
Yep.
And he's put the soft tyres on, so he's going to start a fight back. Tyres are still feeling good from Hamilton. 37 laps. This is amazing.
I think the only reason the rear slid a bit was with the damp surface.
Yeah, it's drying out again now. We had another little brief bit of rain, but it's starting to dry again.
That could cause a bit of wall damage, but he's saying the tyres feel good. So
Albon's right on the back of Raikkonen now at the top of the hill at turn 4, down to turn 5's hairpin on the left-hander. And I don't think it's going to work this time.
Do you know, it would be amazing, but if the 2 Mercs can go to lap 45, right, then that would be absolutely them with everything in their pocket with only themselves to lose it.
Yeah, and if that's the question as well, how long are they going to go? Look, everyone else is pitted now. So, and they can put the softs on to the end of the race.
How Valtteri is keeping that second place with such a bad graining on and it's stripping.
I've got no idea.
The rear tyre is stripping.
Yeah,
there are bits of rubber coming up and flying off. They're like a whip action.
I have no idea how as Russell pits, George Russell finally into the pit lane at the moment as well. He's done 22 according to my monitor on it. So he has pitted once, but is he? I swear he hasn't. No, the 20... 36. So, yeah, Russell into the pit lane for the first time today. That'll drop him down the field now, which is a shame, but we'll keep an eye out. Albon in the DRS of Raikkonen. But, yeah, I think you're right, though. Hamilton and Bottas can just go to the softs until the end of the race if they can stay till lap 45.
Yeah, because softs are really good on 15 laps. So.
Yeah, so they'll be sitting home and dry. Russell's going to come out round about 14th place with battles to go. Bottas is on the radio. Hang on. Oh, dear. So... Bottas. Okay, so Bottas is starting to have some vibration with the rear tyres, but he has been warned for turn 4 track limits. The next time it goes off, it's a black and white flag.
He is saying that the vibration is causing him not to be able to see well enough to, and that's why he's going to... Well, unfortunately, Valtteri, that don't make any difference.
Especially if Lewis Hamilton's your teammate and is on the same tyres as you and is doing fine.
All that tells them is that they need to bring you in, like we've been saying for the last 10 laps. But we know you're trying to go to lap 45. We've worked it out ourselves as well. So that you've got a 16-lap sprint on the softs.
Which we know can do the distance as well, because we saw Gasly do over 30 on the softs.
Because by the look of it, that rain has now gone.
Yeah.
So
hang on.
Forget that.
Oh, sorry, it was a blue flag. It's okay.
What Valtteri needs now is what we've all...
As this is Albon being lapped by Perez, but what was that? That was, sorry, lapped by Bottas. Perez was being told to watch track limits at turn 15.
Valtteri needs a safety car.
Yeah, Valtteri does.
Because otherwise,
free pit stop.
Lewis is going to be able to...
Well, what did you say? It's the last 15 laps of the Grand Prix that gets exciting. So what happened in the past 5?
Virtually all year, it's been the last 15 to 16, 17 laps.
Yeah.
That where most of the action has been. When they're tired, their cars are beginning to rattle, and people don't believe that, but they do rattle.
They do. We're just
Especially
saying that
with a bit of trouble on one of the wheels, and you get a right vibration, like Valtteri is now saying about.
Yeah. So they've got to be very, very, very careful at the end of this Grand Prix. Interesting enough, that wind's getting more and more aggressive. Can you see in the trees blowing in the background? And that wasn't like that just a couple of minutes ago. So I'm wondering if that's changed the angle of wind direction again.
I was just looking at the white van because the white van was clean. They're parked on a hill, which is loose soil.
Yeah, so it
and
would
the white van at the start of the race, because
yeah, it was dirty.
I looked at the white van and it wasn't dirty, and now it's dirty at the bottom. It's as if it's been blown up there. So the crosswind there must be immense.
So that's what the problem is. Wind is at what is that wind at? It's blowing southeast as well, so it's just blowing across the track again.
The reason I looked at the van is I've always wanted a van.
You said,
and I thought, that's a nice van. Then I've just noticed it again, and it's all dirty.
We'll have a look.
Don't want a dirty van.
No, always a clean van.
I loved your mother's 2 vans.
They were good. The Espace, the Renault Espace.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Renault engines of Sainz and Gasly. Well, one Renault engine of McLaren, Honda engine Gasly.
It's also the Espace. You're so far from the wheelbase.
Oh, he's pitting. 2 seconds. Sorry to cut across. You'll have to stop it because Hamilton's boxing. So, hang on. So, Hamilton's saying... So they're waiting for a safety car now. So that was Lance Stroll waiting for a safety car on one radio, but on the other radio, Lewis Hamilton has been told to box now, but Hamilton's saying, but the tyres are still good. And Bottas saying, no, we understand that, but you're coming in.
Is that because they're gonna have to box Valtteri?
Yeah.
And so, but Lewis is leading, so he gets the first box.
And here he is.
So they've done this because it won't make much difference to Lewis's tactics.
Meantime, this is Hamilton. So Bottas now takes the lead of the Portuguese Grand Prix. Hamilton comes back out in second place, comfortably ahead of Verstappen. But meantime, we're seeing the battle between Sainz and Gasly heating up at turn 1. And Gasly would really put his car in the middle of the track and Sainz nowhere else to go.
This is protocol.
Yeah.
It's Hamilton was in the lead massively, so they had to box him first before Bottas. And the reason they didn't go to lap 45, I mean, Lewis was surprised as well, but he just realised this is team protocol.
Yeah.
And Valtteri will be in next.
That's interesting. Hamilton's put the hard tyres on, not the softs.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Well, he had a new set of softs left, as did Bottas. They've both got new
Yeah,
sets.
I noticed it wasn't reds.
That's interesting. They both had a new set of tyres, so I don't know why.
Are they looking at what...
Oh, Bottas on the radio has just been informed that Hamilton is on the hards, and Bottas said, well, in that case, should we take the softs? He's got a, as I just said, he's got a set left. He can do it. Hamilton's going to be slower. He's going to be a lot slower compared to Bottas.
If you put a rocket on the back, I don't... yeah, you've got to... Lewis will have to make a mistake for you to get up there.
Bottas pits. Bottas in the pit lane. Vettel now being told of track limits at turn 1. But saying to keep pushing. Oh no, they've put the hards on.
They're hards. They're white. They're hards.
So Bottas has been overruled by the team. Now, to me, that's not right. Because Bottas wanted the opposite to Hamilton, the team, of putting him on the hards. I don't think that's fair. Bottas wanted the softs, and he hasn't got them. That is clearly...
You don't pay the strategists all that money, though, to...
Oh, meantime, Hamilton... Look at that. No, sorry. Bottas just came out in the middle of trouble and nearly made contact with Giovinazzi and with Russell, as Romain Grosjean has got a 5-second time penalty, presumably for track limits, because we were told he was having problems.
And Bottas is on the eve of getting a time penalty for track limits.
Whoa! Meantime, Grosjean's trying to get round the outside of Kvyat, and that almost was a Stroll situation. Bottas is in the way now of these two, even though they're racing for position. Bottas trying to hold the front. Meantime, Grosjean wants to get past Kvyat, but can't.
Grosjean thinking that he's driving a bulldozer there. Haas make hand tools. They don't make bulldozers.
Well, he locked up and went straight on at the hairpin, nearly took out Bottas and Kvyat.
The way he drives, he should be sponsored by JCB.
I'm remembering several incidents, most notably Belgium 2012, which was a
go back to
bulldozer.
Bottas. Bottas is
more like a wrecking ball, sorry.
Bottas has got to really watch those limits now because of the fact that although if he has to take a time penalty, right, he's not got much of a gap between him and Verstappen now. 9
seconds separating them, so Verstappen's going to be on
So a 5-second time penalty, that makes Verstappen in the last 23 laps a capable of...
Yeah, this is Kvyat's on board, and watch Grosjean on the left-hand side. Suddenly he dives in, and there's almost contact, and they're all sliding out of turn 5.
For those of you who don't watch Formula One, which I doubt that often, Formula One is as much a game of chess than any sport I know. You know, you can say something one lap, and then they do something, and that changes the whole outcome. We've got both we were really surprised they went on the hards because Bottas has got a new set of softs available.
Yeah.
Hamilton's got a set that's only just been
used. Yeah, so I don't know why they haven't.
So, you know, and that would things, but they seem to, the hards will take them to the end of the race without any problem.
I think that's what they're looking for, as Ricciardo is diving left and right to try and break the long toe to Gasly, but Gasly had the DRS and couldn't get into it because he nearly blocked up and went into Ricciardo, and he's off at turn 1 as well.
Maybe it's because of the fact that the softs might... we've got Verstappen. It's not going to pit again. He's on the mediums.
He's going to be much quicker.
And if we put the softs on on Hamilton and Bottas, they might start to disintegrate with 3 laps to go. So maybe that's why they've gone onto the hard tyres.
I agree. Lando's just been told to go up to 100% pace. Lando's saying he is on 100% pace, but he's stuck down in 13th place. And Russell's 15th at the moment.
And may I point out just one thing. Right? Esteban Ocon, the Mr. Safety driver today, hasn't pitted yet.
Hasn't he?
No.
Oh, God, you're right. Ocon has not pitted.
Ocon has not pitted.
Perez has done 42 laps, but he did stop.
And he's got a 21-second gap between him and Ricciardo. So he's just eking out a little bit.
You're right. Ocon has done 43 laps, now 44.
On one set of
mediums. That's insane.
Hey, Ocon, rock and roll, Ocon.
I didn't notice that.
I nearly messed that up.
I didn't notice that. Good spot. That's Norris being told to
I'm
box
not just
this
a
lap.
gorgeous face, you know.
I didn't notice that. It's a great spot there. So Ocon, the only driver not to pit this race so far. 43 lap on mediums as there's rain spots on the camera lens. I wonder if that's coming back again.
Well, if my little pretty face had been here, she would have noticed it.
No, Megan is not with us this weekend. She'll be back with us in Emilia-Romagna. And I thought so. I said exactly the same thing, didn't I? I said there was rain clouds at turn 1.
Took her 2 hours to go in the shower.
Well, she's got more water then in there than we have on the track at the moment. But according to Alexander Albon, there's more light rain coming towards the end of this race. Norris has pitted and has put on the medium compound tyres, but absolutely shocking pit stop for him as it took 2 seconds to get the front right tyre on.
Megan works really hard at her schoolwork, and she does deserve a lazy Sunday afternoon. But her dad wasn't feeling that well, so Dad was a bit grumpy with her.
Yeah, so we are all... Grosjean being told to be careful of the fronts, but Megan's back next weekend. Hamilton's asking if there's rain coming. And Bono's saying that there's just light drops coming. So the rain's coming back again to play a factor. There was light rain at the beginning, light rain in the middle, light rain at the end.
Typical Megan. She's got Monza has no Friday.
Oh, 2 seconds. Gasly now finally dives up the inside of Ricciardo. That was a sweet move. Ricciardo going left and right all the time, but Gasly ran over a bit of debris.
Yeah.
So I wonder if he'll have a puncture.
Well, I hope not.
It's
he's more exciting than Ocon is at the moment.
And
he's coming up to Ocon.
Well, look at that. There's rain clouds all the way around the circuit at the moment. Just little patches of storms coming up. Hamilton, a 1:24.67. Yeah, just to go back to your point.
Do you reckon he will get?
Yeah.
Gasly's just taken 2 seconds out of Ocon, right? Ocon's just warming his tyres up. Do you reckon there's enough time for him to catch him? 22-second gap.
For sure. Gasly's just told, yes, let's go for it.
So you're saying...
He can get him.
Well,
Perez pits for the second time this afternoon. And crucially, Ocon hasn't. So Ocon goes to 5th.
Perez.
Yeah, Ocon goes up to 5th place then. Stays in place.
So when do you reckon Ocon's going to... Because surely those... the reason I'm saying, can he catch him? You can't afford to let that gap... right, go down any further.
Ocon has a brand new set of soft tyres left that would easily take him to the end of the race.
Yeah, what are they doing? Why aren't they pitting him? Have they forgot to pit him? It's a bit stupid if they have.
I would love that if he gets to the end of the race.
Or is it a glitch? Has he actually pitted and we don't know about it because the timing screen's gone wrong?
No, this timing screen's showing 45 as well. Yeah. So with 2 different timing monitors that work on different servers. So yeah, they have. That's my foot again. They have definitely got pitted. Fastest lap again for Hamilton. What is it now? 1:23.66.
Ocon he's going to get caught. So if you don't pit him soon, he's going to get caught.
That's Sergio's box confirmed. We've already seen that pit stops. That radio message that we're hearing on our ears is delayed at the moment.
Gasly coming up to Perez, and Perez 10 seconds behind Ocon. Ocon, I'm sorry, you've got to pit him.
Yeah, they've got to get him in.
And it's going to put him back into the midfield.
Get him on softs now, and then you get the heat
He'll
of the
have
tyres.
new softs for the last
if the rain comes,
20 laps of the race.
If the rain comes as well.
Actually, it's only 19 laps.
Good spot with the van. It is dirty at the bottom. Yeah, I've just spotted that myself. So yeah, that's even more trouble. And the rain has been kicked up, and there's rain clouds coming back into the circuit.
It's either a Renault or a Citroen, isn't it? It looks like a Citroen.
It looked like a Citroen, yeah, the front end. But yeah, the rain clouds coming in over the circuit once again. It's lap 47 of 66 here of the Portuguese Grand Prix. And look at the fans in the attendance are now walking around. It's lovely to see them. And this is the first Grand Prix of the year that's been open up to the general public. Yeah.
Quite a few Brits in that crowd. We've seen quite a few Union Jacks.
This is Albon coming into the pit lane, but Sainz has got past Ricciardo as well. Vettel's up as Albon decides to come into the pit lane. A new fast lap and a new lap record. We're now into the 1:19s, but Bottas took it. Hamilton did a 1:19.923. Bottas does a thousandth of a second faster and does a 1:19.922. That's amazing.
Albon's pit stop might bring him just out in front of Giovinazzi. Definitely in front of Russell.
Yeah, so Russell is safe at the well, not safe, but he's not going to get any points today unless there's something else happening in the race. Oh, it's closing down, isn't it? This race, there's still a bit more to go than everybody expects, and that rain cloud could still play a factor in this Grand Prix.
You see, we remember Raikkonen.
Yes,
with the tyre The everlasting tyre. Well,
Yeah.
it got to a stage where there was no rubber left on it.
He just
And
fell
he
off.
just fell off and lost 16 places and virtually came last when he was challenging for the lead of the race.
That was when he was at Lotus. Vettel being told that the front left is struggling with the mediums, but he can't really complain when Ocon's doing 47 laps, 48 nearly, on board with Lewis Hamilton. Then he's feathering that throttle out of the. He's delicate with these tyres, isn't he? He's off the throttle completely in turn 15.
Yeah.
So track temperature's air temperature.
He's such
20.
a smooth driver, isn't he, then?
Yeah, air temperature 20 degrees, track temperature 26 degrees, and the wind's blowing in even further.
He learned a lot from Jensen, didn't he?
He did,
Jensen
yeah.
was the smoothest driver I knew.
They both took things from each other.
I used to love watching Jensen's onboards because you just saw, and what you see now. Thank you, Lewis.
Lewis twitching into turn
little
1.
twitch.
Yeah, nearly went off.
Taking it too slowly there, Lewis.
Yeah, the tyres are dropping in temperature, so he's got to speed it up, and Bottas is closing on him. But yeah, I do agree. Jensen was very smooth, and Lewis is closing, and a fast stop. This is the stop from earlier on today that I told you about. 1.8 seconds in the end. That was fantastic from Red Bull. Another record. It was 1.92 before. It's now 1.8. As we've got more drama. Who was that going well? That was Kvyat. Very wide through turn 3.
But we've got 17 laps to go.
And Albon to the inside, trying to get past Antonio Giovinazzi. That's a nice move this time. So Albon now ahead of Giovinazzi. The computer saying he already is ahead of him, though.
If they picked Ocon now, he'll still be roundabout Sainz or Ricciardo.
Yeah. Yeah, so the Ocon should pit now. They've got
Is he just trying to get to the 50 lap?
Well, it'd be a record if he does.
Yes, it would.
48 laps done on those tyres now. About to start 49. Hasn't pitted once.
It's a completely different strategy.
And it might work for him.
You never know.
If the rain comes, masterclass. Because they'll have to pit for Inters and he gets a free pit stop. That is something there. Ocon could look at that. Look, they've added him to the graphic now. 48 laps done on those tyres. Absolute insanity. As there's more radio there from Verstappen. As this is Bottas radio, we're going to hear. So, it's just Bottas being told on the first stint he was rear limited, and Hamilton on the same first stint was front limited. Now they're on the same tyres again. He might switch around. Russell's going to make a move.
Rear right for Bottas, front left for Hamilton. And the rear right was almost destroyed for Bottas, whereas the front left for Hamilton was graining, but not too bad.
Ocon's just started lap 49 on these tyres now for him.
He's going for the 50, isn't he?
He's going to go for the 50. I'm looking at him on the monitor. He's got no one in front of him, and he's quite far behind Stroll actually now, so he does have room to pit and might just come out with the gap still. He's pulled out 11 seconds. In fact, he's pulled out 19, sorry. And this was Russell trying to get past Giovinazzi.
He does realise that he has to pit.
Yes.
He has to do both sets of tyres.
Yeah, has to have two sets, yeah.
It hasn't been declared a wet race, even though we've had rain.
Yeah, no, we would have seen that come up from race control.
So he has to pit.
Has to pit again. If it's a wet race, you are declared that you only have to use intermediates and wets. So that's going to be interesting going forward. But it's lap 51 of 66 and 50 laps. 50 laps on the monitor, about to take over.
Yeah, he's got to go in, hasn't he?
For sure. Oh, that was Ocon.
Pirelli must be going, what?
Yeah, can we have a look at your tyres after the race, please? Considering when we finished practice 1, all the spins and the tyre cuts we had, we're thinking, oh no, what we're going to have? Another Pirelli tyre failure gate. No, 50 laps. I'm looking at the monitor. I'm hoping he doesn't go in. Where is he? There he is. He's done it. 50 laps.
50 laps, and he's still going.
Yeah, he's crossed the line, and he's done 50 laps now.
These tyres are destined for the Pirelli museum.
Yeah. Now, the most... Lando's had his time limit deleted, so that's not good. But the most a Pirelli tyre has ever done was 52 laps.
How can you get a time, your lap deleted?
The lap time, not the overall contribution to the race. He's just gone off the track again. It was a track limits warning. But yeah, just quickly, the most a tyre has ever done in Formula 1 was 52 laps in the Pirelli area. And that was in 2014 at the Russian Grand Prix. And that was done by Nico Rosberg, who put the hard tyres on right at the beginning of the race and took them to the end. After a big lock-up at turn 1. Came second. Those tyres are
held in a frame in Pirelli. And I must admit, if Ocon gets past 52 and does 53, these will be the longest tyres ever done in Formula One in the Pirelli era.
Yeah.
That's just insanity. Because it's still all 306 kilometres, just determines how many laps they do. So it's the same distance done overall, the race. And that was... Russell's passed him. Russell's passed Giovinazzi. Russell's finally got through to 13th place. And now he's back on the tail of Alexander Albon. And vote for the driver of the day. F1.com/vote for your driver of the day. And let us know who you think the drivers of the day is in the YouTube chat below as well.
Georgie Boy and Antonio, both on hard tyres.
Albon's been told about track limits at turn 1. And don't go further because you will get black flagged. So Albon's really struggling now, isn't he? 12th at the moment. Look at that helicopter. That was a bit low. That's just the elevation changes that we're looking at. Ocon at the moment, I'm just looking for him on the monitor. He's just at turn 7 and 8, and he's done 51. He's got to do 53 laps to get to the
Mercedes. The Mercedes did their last. Lewis did his last victory without going over the white lines, and if they can slow down, still win the race without going over the lines. He never got done for track limits once in the last race. Then everyone can.
Yes.
The only reason you should go over the lines is if you're forced to.
A bit like what we saw at the start.
Yeah, we had a few incidents in this race, right? Or if you have a lockup.
That Seb's having now on the hards. That's why he's dropped down the order.
Also,
Ocon, 52 laps. So Ocon is now level with Nico Rosberg's 52 laps. One more rotation, he's broke the record. I can't believe what I'm seeing from him, actually. He hasn't pitted yet. That's insane. But yeah, I agree. White lines should be the track limits.
Yeah, Johnny Herbert is really, really incensed about, he's been a driver steward.
Yeah.
He really, really keeps going on and on about it. And because he feels that if you're taking an advantage, you should be punished for it.
I agree. Who's this coming in? Race control. Black and white flag for Latifi, track limits, but Lance Stroll has retired. He's into the pit lane now. So Lance Stroll on lap 54 of 66 becomes our first retirement of the day. And he was the one who made contact with Lando Norris early on and really wrecked Norris's race. So Stroll out. And that massively affects Racing Point, who had a massive advantage last time out at the Eiffel Grand Prix at the Nürburgring with a double points finish with Perez and Hülkenberg. Stroll's come back and, frankly, has had a shocker of a weekend all through Friday, Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, because I think he's come back too early, and it may be the reason why they've retired him.
I think Hülkenberg will be in the car next week at Imola. I'm saying it now.
Renault getting ready for Ocon.
And did you see the massive flat spot? 53 laps. He's done it. He has done it. He's done the whole distance of the Russian Grand Prix on those tyres. Esteban Ocon finally comes into the pit lane. He locked up as well massively. He's now going to put on a brand new set of soft compound tyres, which must be feeling like putting on a new set of shoes that have already been broken in.
The car's an inch higher now.
Yes, it is. It's bigger, isn't it? As Ocon will only drop behind Perez and Gasly, and Sainz, as you say, is going to come out right in front of his teammate Ricciardo. That was a masterclass from Esteban Ocon and Renault, as Vettel right round the outside of Raikkonen into turn 1 for that final point-scoring position, but goes all four wheels off the track. He'll have to get the place back, as he's locked up again on the inside front. But look at that, the rain's coming back, because look at the wind now. It's blowing the camera, Arch.
They clearly were going for the record there.
Yeah, they've done it.
Yeah, and that might explain his... Let's see how he does in the last 11 laps, right? Because we haven't seen any aggressive driving from him. No. He's got his teammate, Danny Ricciardo, who... he's a great driver behind him.
Time penalty. Danny Kvyat. 5 seconds added, presumably for exceeding the track limits.
I think.
And this was Vettel in turn 1 on Kimi Raikkonen, but he clearly went all four wheels off the track. Massively, so he'll get a time penalty as well. As, around the outside. It was a brave move to try it. And it went quite well. Apart from the fact he was off the track.
Lewis, once he takes Gasly, then Perez, and laps them, has got clear air.
And he's just got to catch up. Yeah, he'll have lapped everyone bar Leclerc, which is on his race run as well.
With 11 laps to go, I don't think he actually needs to do that.
Race control, black and white flag for Lando Norris at turn 4, exceeding track limits. Well, we heard on the radio, he was warned about that. The battle for 8th now between...
He's about to...
yeah, go on.
Sorry, he's about to approach Gasly.
Yeah, and Russell's on the radio. The wind is really picking up now. It's very difficult. I told you. We're hearing on the radio now. The wind is picking up so much here at Portimao. It's blowing the camera mountings that are bolted down. And look, the wind is now increasing 11.2, but it's now a tailwind again and a crosswind.
Yeah.
It's very weird.
Georgie Russell was actually the one that pointed out that it's the back end of a hurricane.
Yeah. So it's massively affecting everything at the moment.
What it's got to do with Tottenham strikers, I don't know.
I knew you were going to say that. Ocon, Ricciardo, Vettel, Raikkonen, the battle for 8th place at the moment. So the question now is anyone going to be blown off the track? A lock up and oversteer moment, round you go.
Yeah.
I thought when Perez spun on lap 1, they'd have to stop the race because it's an uphill blind corner. I was imagining a car running into the side of him and several massive pileups. Luckily, we avoided that one and he just went into the wall. But surprisingly, there's only one retirement from this action-packed Grand Prix with 10 laps to go, and that's Lance Stroll, who has retired for unknown reasons. Fastest lap, 1:19.502 for Hamilton. That's Romain Grosjean saying he's struggling with the engines in the straight as he tries to get past Kvyat, because Kvyat's got a 5-second time penalty. And look, the wind's changed again and it's increased to 15.1. So the wind is now even harder at this circuit. So, I can confirm, Verstappen has said on the radio, mate, it's gusty out here. And, well, here's an interesting thing. Are they going to have to stop the race for wind?
Because of the ability of the helicopter. Well, they do have a helicopter up there actually taking these shots. So
it looks okay.
If he's fine, then the medical helicopters should be fine.
Yeah, I'm glad you went back to that because that's what I meant as well. Yeah, the medical helicopter, if it can't fly due to gusty conditions, they might stop the race. But 57 to 66, we're nearly at the end of it, so we might be all right. Well, that's a situation we have to look at. If the wind gets too much, it's an automatic procedure. Michael Masi doesn't have control over the button. If that wind sensor goes above a certain amount and the medical helicopter can't fly, it automatically stops the race. So Michael Masi won't have any control over it. It's the same. It's the same if a driver's light goes off, like what we saw with Anton Hubert and Juan Manuel Correa. The race director didn't actually stop the race. The driver's lights went off and triggered. And triggered
on their lifeline.
Yes, and automatically triggered the red flag procedure. So that was an input brought in by Charlie Whiting after the deaths of Ratzenberger and Senna and Bianchi. He brought it back in after Bianchi that there's an automatic red flag. The only other time we saw that, but after Senna's death, was in 2003 when Alonso crashed in Brazil and hit the wall really hard. It actually ripped the sensor off.
I remember Alonso crashing in McLaren at the Australian Grand Prix.
That as well, yeah.
That was so much damage.
Yeah, both of them triggered the red flag procedure.
It looked like it'd been hit by a juggernaut, back and front.
Sainz is saying that he's struggling so much because of the wind. They were all sliding over. But I do remember that.
Carlos, would your dad moan about it like you just did? Oh, that's quite interesting. We've got some
sliding from Bottas. Yeah. Oh,
Bottas
yeah.
has got
There's some
tape coming off his
the engine cover, isn't it?
Engine cover.
I wonder why. Where's that come from?
Yeah, what's caused that?
Yeah, it must be the wind. It's got to be the wind. One ball with Lewis Hamilton, though. About to start at 59 of 66. Hamilton on the radio. Oh, Lewis on the radio saying that I've got a cramp. Copy. Okay, understood. Well, that's not going to be good for Hamilton either, because if he's cramping up in the car, it's going to be
We've all had
painful.
cramp. It's horrible.
Yeah, it's going to be painful. So Lewis driving
Lewis,
in pain.
Lewis, come on.
He's going to... I would take it easy.
Through the pain, Lewis. Through the pain.
Let's hope he can get that mental block that he was talking about. Well, he's driven in pain before, of course. Monaco, 2016, he had a bit of gravel getting in his eye. And he was blind in one eye for about an hour and a half for the remaining of that Grand Prix. So imagine closing your left eye and
I just have.
Yeah, and try looking around the track. It's not nice. And at high speeds in Monaco, I think that was one of the greatest attempts Lewis ever made. I don't think he won that race though. I don't think he did. 13, 14, 15. Oh, he might have done actually. Ricciardo was supposed to win that race.
Reminds me of that guy that used to close his eye and his left eye when he was driving, and used to always crash.
Who was that?
Because he didn't have a right eye.
Oh, Marco? Marco doesn't have a right eye if you think about
Don't
it.
you get it?
I do.
Because he didn't have a right eye.
Lando Norris trying to go right round the outside of Russell. That's going to crush you there because Russell's not going to get this battle. And Norris pulls to the outside. That's going to be a brave move on the mediums. But McLaren outpacing the Williams. And Norris up to 13th place. Russell's down to 14th.
I don't actually know any driver that's got no right eye.
Maria Di Valotta lost her eye in a crash, but tragically she
died afterwards.
I would say
Dr. Marco is the only one that I can think of.
I think Dr. Marco is the only one. Yeah.
There is by the way, if you only have one eye, there is no problem with driving a normal car.
What we're talking about the fact is that Hamilton had the gravel in his eye.
I don't think he would actually pass the stringent tests now.
Not sure though, anything's possible. But yeah, we're on about
the fact... I wouldn't.
Yeah, no, you wouldn't. I know we're on about the fact that Hamilton had the grit in his eye constantly, so it's scratching his lens so much.
Must have been irritating.
Oh, yeah, he had a lot of problem with it after.
Do you know, I don't know whether... I've always thought that Lewis has contact lenses.
I think he does, actually, because we always see him with glasses nowadays.
Yeah, he wears some glasses sometimes, doesn't he?
Well, I only wear these when I'm in the commentary box, my glasses, so that I can see the monitor and all the little things around me, because we've got a lot more information to study during a race than qualifying in the race and practice. Lap 60-66, the rain seems to have kept away. Hamilton's got... And the wind's gone down. Carlos Sainz has been told on a well done for Sector 2, which has actually taken it away from Lewis Hamilton in the second sector. So great job for him. But Hamilton's just done a 1:19.484, fastest lap of the race so far again.
Ocon's still keeping Ricciardo at bay.
I think he might hold him off, for the end of the race.
So that strategy, that record-breaking...
It's paid off brilliantly.
Lap strategy seems to have...
Mm.
I ain't got the talent you've got, but I can try this.
And it worked.
That's working.
Mercedes will not... Oh, that's rain on the front of the camera lens from Vettel. Look, you can see it's dripping down. It's starting to rain again.
Maybe he's crying again.
Oh, well, I wouldn't be surprised with Sebastian. He's not having much luck, is he, at the moment? Mercedes...
I don't think he's the type to cry, do you, Sebastian?
I've never seen him. Oh, no, actually, I have. When he won the championship, 2010.
Oh.
He was bawling, wasn't
he?
Yeah. Just a reminder, we will not have Mercedes crowned 7 times Constructors' Champions here today. They have not scored enough points against Red Bull.
Because Verstappen is in 3rd place.
Well, actually, hang on. I say that, but I want to check
Here he
this.
gets his calculator out.
I want to check this because I swear it was Jenny Gao who said that they only had to score 4 more points.
Yeah, Simon said something similar as well.
So if they have, that might just get it. So let's have a look at Jenny's Twitter. As we have a look as Kvyat, this is Gasly with 5 to go, holding off and a fast lap again for Hamilton, a 1:18.9.
Come on, Lewis.
Well, he's getting it in, isn't he?
Yeah.
So I just want to have a look to see if he is scoring 4 more points. I can't find. Come on.
Because really, we want 2 entries in the record books, not just the one for the tyre.
Sainz being told there's light rain again. Well, yeah, we knew that, didn't we?
Yeah, we're not mentioning it.
Mercedes could win the Constructors' title today if it would take a great day for Mercedes and Red Bull to score less than 4 points. So no. Mercedes, Verstappen has won. Yeah, so they're not going to win it.
They're not going to win it today.
So the Red Bull had to score less than 4 points overall. That has not happened.
Yet another Mercedes 1-2 at this point with just about 4 laps to go.
And Gasly on the radio as well. And light rain in pit lane, we're being told as well. So the rain's come all throughout the race. It hasn't properly bucketed it down, has it? But that would have spoiled the race. It's delivering us some little sprinkle of rain that is actually juzzed up the race strategy. I mean, Ocon's the standout for me. As you say, he did, 53 laps on those tyres.
If the German fans are praying for rain, it's going to happen one day because Lewis is brilliant. So just let it happen today.
Yeah. Oh, that's my text. Well, sorry. What's happened to Haas? Haas has done something as well. We're not sure what. 16th and 17th. Gasly's been told, let's go get Perez. He's struggling. And look at that. Actually, Gasly's only less than a second now behind Perez. So Perez could drop behind at the moment. Well, there
is
is
it
Sergio.
a coincidence
Yeah, go on.
that Haas haven't done well ever since that certain drink manufacturer
Rich Energy.
has
Yes, I know.
left them?
I know. I'm just starting to think, what is it? The sponsorship going, and now both their drivers are going, and new guys coming in.
Gene Haas is a billionaire, so that shouldn't happen.
Yeah, he said, didn't he, that there was all the money being put in.
Yeah,
Needed it.
I've never thought it was about money. Though Gunther thinks it money-wise, he was explaining that he had to explain to Gene Haas why he needed to get rid of the drivers because they were too expensive.
Yes.
Gene Haas was, what's money got to do with it?
Yeah, why were they expensive? Verstappen. Oh, Verstappen being told... 2 seconds. Yeah, it's just changed. It's a 1:18.750 now. Hamilton does a new fastest lap. Verstappen asking on the radio what it is, but Perez for 5th place having to aggressively defend. That's moving twice. That is Perez moving twice down the start-finish straight to defend from Gasly. So we might get a penalty for that. That was moving twice into braking as well. So that's frowned upon. So Gasly's going to have to do it again down to turn 5. Perez is holding as much as he can, as Hamilton has now lapped them as well. So they're a lap down overall.
Just look at that thing, though. The 4th place driver is over a minute behind Lewis.
Yeah, what is it? It's only 29, according to my monitor.
Oh, it just said up there.
Oh, no, 61. You're right. Sorry, my fault there.
Yeah.
I was looking at the interval, not the gap. It's 61 seconds between them.
Yeah, because you've got to add all those up behind him.
Yeah, Gasly radio. Gasly saying, this guy, I almost destroyed him. Oh, we're hearing it on the way now. And that wasn't fair, really, from Perez. He should have left a lot more room into turn 1.
Perez is fighting for his career. He's fighting to get another job somewhere.
I mean, look at this. He was in the braking zone as well, downhill. And,
Yeah, I think he stopped the tyre.
Yeah, I think he did. That was almost contact. Perez turned right across, looked in his mirrors, moved over again, and Gasly almost went flying, because he would have took off on that, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
That car would have flipped, because it was downhill, and he would have flipped up. Here we go again, though. Gasly's in the slipstream with the DRS open. Perez is going to have to defend the inside. This time, Gasly goes high side into turn 1. Perez gives him enough room, but this time they're still side by side, and Gasly gets the out drag. Brilliant.
Talent. Sheer talent.
And look at
against
that.
one of the best drivers in the midfield.
And Alpha Tauri are enjoying that one. And now it's the turn of Carlos Sainz to go for Sergio Perez downhill to turn 5. Not paying off this time.
Now the people watching and listening, do you understand what I mean about the last 15, 16 laps of all the Grand Prix this year?
It's just exploding in the last 15 laps. We're into the penultimate one as well. Lewis Hamilton is about to win another Grand Prix and will we'll go one better than Michael Schumacher. This is a replay.
At a track he's never won at before, so that's yet another one crossed off his list.
All of them. He's won all of them, including it as well. So this is it now.
So, look at this.
So this is the last
Final lap.
Hamilton has got a pit stop and a half advantage. So, this is the end of the Portuguese Grand Prix. Mercedes won't be the Constructors' champions, but Lewis Hamilton is about to become the greatest of all time. Here comes Carlos Sainz. He's going this time. Perez, well, that was a bit weaker from Perez, wasn't he? He did more to defend from Gasly.
It's as if the Gasly incident had taken it out on him.
Yeah. That's just Gasly on the radio saying go around the outside. Just got to turn that off for a few seconds because we have to talk about Lewis Hamilton, who, where is he on the monitor? Just coming up to turn 9 and 10. Race control. Incident involving Gasly and Perez will be investigated after the race. Presumably that'll be a grid penalty for Perez for the next race.
Yeah, or even a time penalty for this race.
Good point. If they can get it done quick enough. But here he is.
Lewis has just got
few more corners.
Chicane. Not chicane.
The last two corners,
the last two corners.
Here he is, top of the hill. Hard compound tyre. Well, Alain Prost in 1987 won in Portugal for his 28th career win. He was called the greatest of all time. Since then, it was Vettel. Then it was Schumacher on 91. Lewis Hamilton wins the Portuguese Grand Prix and becomes the greatest of all time with 92 career victories. Something we would never, ever see again. Records are there to be broken. That was said by Michael Schumacher. Lewis Hamilton has done it today. The greatest of all time. Valtteri Bottas comes home in second place. Mercedes are one step closer to the Constructors' Championship. And Max Verstappen will finish in third on the medium compound tyres. But the news story is Lewis Hamilton is the greatest of all time.
Yeah, just like Valentino Rossi in MotoGP. Do you know, when Michael made this record, I thought it would never, ever be broken. And it's been broken by a Brit. And it's brilliant, Lewis. You are brilliant.
Fantastic race, fantastic career. And now he's only, 2 Grand Prix away from equaling Schumacher at 7 titles. But because of the 92 wins, he becomes the greatest of all time with a 7th title confirmed. Look at this. This was 2007 in Canada all the way through to now. And he becomes the only driver to win with a Mercedes engine. Lewis Hamilton, a 92-time Grand Prix winner, and is one step closer to champion of the world for the 7th time.
And I think it's true that Lewis is on.
I don't know if we can play it, but... Oh, we can't play, unfortunately. But we can hear you. The team congratulating Lewis on the radio. Toto congratulating him as well on the radio. Lewis saying, "Wow, guys." And he's speechless. So he can't have done it without the team. And can thank you for believing in him throughout. And such an honour to work with Mercedes.
He's gone from that serious little boy with a remote control car on Blue Peter in this country, a children's program, to this. He's gone from that 4-year-old to this. And, 44's the numbers on the old Vauxhall that his dad used to take them to karting in. And it was 44. He's always used the number 44 instead of 1, which as most world champions.
Bono's going to the podium.
Yeah,
yeah, go on.
Most world champions are so pleased that they put number 1 on the car, which they're entitled to do so.
They are. Yep.
But he's always stuck with 44 because of the family connection, and it means something to him, and it's lovely to see that number 44 behind the first position thing there. Lewis is a brilliant lad, right? He's definitely the most exciting driver we've had in a long time, and we're all really proud of you, Lewis. And I know people say there's critics. Well, everybody has critics when you're as successful as him. Look at Cristiano Ronaldo, right? He's probably the best ever. Him or Messi's probably the best footballers of the current generation, and they get so much trolling by people who are so jealous of them. You can't look, Lewis. You are brilliant. Where's Angie?
He's looking there, isn't he? He's looking for Angie completely around the track.
You've got to think also that people like Angie have had a major contribution. He's looking for her again.
He's looking, yeah,
and he's looking for his own personal people. Thankfully, on this special occasion, there she is.
There's Angie. Big hugs, big celebration. And this is something that I don't think we'd ever see again. Of course, the next record is, there's rumours he was retiring, but I don't think so. If he wins 8 more, he's 100 wins.
Yeah, first guy to do a triple.
I think he might stay to do that. Why not? We've got another year in the car that's identical to this one for the regulation change.
Why would he move?
Yeah, exactly.
I know he's got other things in the pipeline, right?
Just do 1 more year.
But he would, if he moved, he wouldn't have Toto, Bono, or Angie. Well, he might have Angie.
Angie might move over, but I know what you mean.
But
I'd say to Lewis, stick around, get to 100 wins, get to 100 poles as well.
I honestly believe that,
and get to 8 titles.
The truth of the matter is, it's not Angie. Sorry, it's Toto that is the reason he hasn't signed already.
If Toto
and the
fact
that he wants the car.
Yeah,
he wants that car that he's just driven around the track to victory.
He'd want that 90
Yeah,
seconds.
he's got 2 of them up to now, hasn't he?
He's got 14s, hasn't he? And I think he got last year's. I'm not too sure,
Yeah.
but he's won this year. No, I tell you what. No, sorry, I forget that. He's got the 2008 car and the 2014 car.
Yeah, and obviously Mercedes will want this for their museum themselves.
I think Formula One might want it as well,
Yeah.
just to show off. But tell you what, it's a nice podium, this one. A massive F1 logo and a massive screen as well to display everything. So this is going to be something new. I always remember Hamilton's stats because they're so easy now. 97 pole positions, 92 Grand Prix victories. You're never going to forget that. It's drilled into your head. He is the greatest of all time.
Yeah, definitely. We've thought he was the greatest for a long time.
He's certainly the greatest British driver.
He's certainly shown a different class to anybody in the last 30 years that we've had.
Martin Brundle just interviewing the drivers now. Unfortunately, we can't broadcast any of it. We can only broadcast the national anthems because they're in the public domain.
And I'm not just talking about Britain there. I'm talking about all we've had.
Oh, everyone. Formula One. Oh, he's waving to the crowd as well. How good that Hamilton did 92 victories, a new record in front of a crowd.
Michael was a special driver. And he had a big team that was so behind him.
Yeah.
And I think you're seeing that with Lewis as well. It's all about the team behind him as well. When you've got their special talent, you just need everybody to put everything right and for you to achieve these things. And that's I think Max has got a long time to go in this sport, but hopefully there's his dad.
Maurice Hamilton. Now, he was quarantining in the Algarve since Eiffel, just in case he got it here, and he has. Of course, Maurice lives in Portugal as well, and he's now having a big embrace with his dad. Them two have come up through karting, through Formula 3, Formula 2, it was GP2 then, and then the Formula 1 Championship. They had a little rift, but over the last year they sorted it out, and they're now closer than ever, and that is brilliant to see. They're both record holders. You just can't imagine it, can you? 92 wins, as Bottas now being told. Bottas must be angry, more than angry. He could have had that win, but I think it was orchestrated towards Lewis today.
Well, for the history point of view, I'm glad it was.
Yes, for the history,
definitely the people behind Valtteri made at least 2 mistakes today.
Should have put him on the softs and pitted earlier.
And should have pitted him a lot earlier.
Yeah.
And Valtteri is doing his best. But it's what I said about the people behind you.
Yeah.
Right? That's Max's problem. Max has got his team's got all the money they can, and they've got all the talent they can. But at the moment, right, it's not working for him because they can't match Mercedes.
It's sort of
constantly.
The team's sort of split in two, isn't it? One side's on Albon trying to get their car fighting. One side's on Verstappen as well, and Bottas as well. He's not really working together with the team. He's got no one behind him. It's really a mess right now. The only people who seem to have got it together really seems to be Leclerc and Ferrari, who are got it together, but they haven't got the car. And Mercedes have got it together with Lewis.
This is a total random thing, but if you're wondering when the next one's coming up, Pourchaire.
Yeah, Theo
right?
Pourchaire.
When Lewis is retired, right? Watch out for Pourchaire, the French lad. He's 17 at the moment, and he's driving like they did, like him and Nico did.
We can hear what Lewis is saying, but obviously you can't. Lewis is saying that he owes it all to the people here in the back of the factory for Mercedes.
It's another thing Jensen taught him.
Diplomat.
Remember the fact that you're only here because the people work so hard in the factory.
Just a comment on the YouTube chat. Great commentary. Great job with the commentary. Thank you. And it'd be great if you had live timing. Yeah, I'm working on that. I've just found out how I can add the live timing. So that would be coming up soon. So stay tuned. Just along here, we'll have some live timing. Because I was thinking the same thing. But thank you for the compliment. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for joining us all throughout today and this weekend as well.
Toto seems to be just taking a back seat there. He must be, knowing Toto, he's possibly thinking to himself, a certain person isn't here to celebrate this, who has been a major part in not only Mercedes' success, Toto's success, but especially Lewis's success.
It's just started raining. Isn't that Formula One's bitter luck?
We lost him so suddenly.
Nicky,
the operation for Nicky went not how we wanted it to, and we lost him
Just
really
for Monaco,
quickly.
yeah.
And what a lot of people don't know is that Nikki, Toto's first wife, was Nikki's cousin, and
They're
so
very close.
it's a family thing between him and Nikki, right? You know,
It's thundering in the Algarve right now. It started to rain and the thunder's out. So isn't that always the way? It's raining
that's
heavily.
Nikki.
It's
The thunder. It's Nikki talking.
Isn't that just always the way with Formula One? As soon as the checkered flag comes out, there goes the rain.
Yeah, I remember once
Germany.
Rachel getting absolutely soaked on that new platform.
Germany, I think. Yeah. Russia as well.
Him and Johnny looking like drowned rats.
That was Russia, wasn't it? Yeah. I'm just. I can't believe it.
You know, Sky's all this money, and they don't think of gazebos.
I know. I mean, that's something that even British touring cars have done.
Yeah, put gazebos up.
But now
it's
they've
hard word for
the
me,
gazebos.
but,
Yeah.
Gazebo.
Oh look, Esteban Gutierrez.
Gazebo. I'm just trying to think of a way of putting that into a song. Gazebo, gazebo.
I don't know.
Have you got yourself in your garden a nice big gazebo?
That's nearly there, but it doesn't really rhyme with anything. That's why it's called gazebo.
Like the rain in Spain is now over Portugal.
Over the Algarve as well, yeah, you're right, where we are. And they're going to get those mics in quick because they'll short circuit. You can only use wireless mics in wet because they don't have the little connector lead. In fact, if I go over here, what I mean is the fact is that they don't have that little silver connector here. Wireless mics are on their own.
Just joking.
They're wired up.
Just joking.
Better put that back
He
in.
hasn't really electrocuted me. My chair is plugged in, but he hasn't actually flicked the switch yet.
I nearly brought the entire gantry down on me.
It wouldn't
there.
work because it's wooden.
No, it's a wooden chair. No, but I'm slowly
And I've
cooking
got
you
rubber
with the fan.
soles on.
Slowly cooking you with the fan that's underneath.
Yeah, I know. I'm beginning to spit.
They're about to come up now for the podium, one at a time. So because this was built as a test track, the podium's very different here. It's why they've had to do a makeshift one up the gangplank look, one at a time, onto the temporary podium here at Portimao. Socialise responsibly. Look at all the previous winners of the Portuguese Grand Prix: Schumacher, Coulthard, and now the first Portuguese Grand Prix is 1996.
Max
gives us a winner.
Max has just said, ran up there and gone, follow that. Go on.
Bottas has. Very cool and calm. Bottas angry. But the rain's now coming down again here in Portugal. Well, we can't be too disappointed because we had a wet first lap and we had rain throughout the race.
Is it Lewis next or Bono?
Bono. And Lewis right behind.
Hey, up, Lewis. Lewis is walking up. Bono's actually getting into a trot.
And on to the constructors, walking past. But look at that. A new world record. Lewis Hamilton for Mercedes and Great Britain is the greatest of all time.
What a great day for British motorsport. And what a great day for that lad there. Lad from Stevenage.
And of course, we don't know what happened in Formula 2 where Sam Lowes was on pole. But let's hear the British national anthem. Now the German national anthem for
And you could just see the tear in the eye, couldn't you, of Morris Hamilton.
Me too.
Morris Hamilton, that's the commentator
We
of Five Live. I meant Anthony Hamilton.
In Britain, we've had success in the football, the rugby, the cricket, and we've had world championships in this before. But we've never had a greatest of all time.
Now we do.
In motorsport, I don't think.
Barry Sheehan came close.
Barry, yeah.
But Lewis Hamilton, the greatest of all time in Formula One and of motorsport, really.
And you deserve to pick up that, Bono.
Bono, who's led the team and all of Lewis Hamilton's victories of 92. He deserves it just as much. He's now the most experienced race engineer in terms of Grand Prix victories.
And we should also thank Ron Dennis.
Yes.
Who
met
this little kid
at an Autosport International.
Autosport dinner, yeah.
Came up to him and said, I'm going to drive for you one day.
And gave him his number. And,
signed him.
He looked at what the kid was doing, signed him, even gave him schooling.
It's champagne time here in Portugal. Hamilton and Bono immediately celebrate. Bottas, being finished, needs a drink and just gulps it down straight away. Bono soaks Bottas, and now Bottas goes shaking the champagne. Hamilton and Verstappen as well. Formula One has returned to the Algarve, and we have had a fantastic Grand Prix. Rain at the start, rain in the middle, rain at the end. It shook up the race, but one thing was certain. Hamilton was always on form ever since he flicked something in his mind in qualifying. Bottas may have had practice, but Hamilton in the race is unbeatable. 92 times a Grand Prix winner. He becomes the greatest of all time. I've got to ask for your driver of the day now. Does it really? I think there's a couple really today.
There's two drivers of the day,
Yeah.
other than Lewis, who is actually the driver of the century.
Yes, I think it must be now, yeah.
Ocon.
Ocon, yeah, I'd agree.
53 laps
Unbelievable.
on one set of tyres, creating history himself today.
2 records broken. You're right, yeah. Sorry.
Third, also, Lewis has now won at every track.
That's another record broken, yeah. Every track that he's been on in the Formula 1 calendar, he's won at as well, which is fantastic. Every new one he came on, he's won. That's even better.
I think we've had a number of British victories. I know Nigel won there at Estoril. And quite, I think DC won there
Hill,
as well.
Coulthard, all winners. Schumacher won there a couple of times. We do it all over again, though, in a week's time.
In a shortened week.
Yes, 2-day event, Halloween and the 1st of November for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix as Formula One returns to Imola for the first time since 2006. Megan Burch rejoins the commentary team for that one. And all I can say to that is, ha ha, you missed it.
You lazy...
What have you done, Megan? You've just missed a record.
She's probably watching Star Wars or something.
Something like that. Although I did text her saying to go and watch
Star
it.
Wars.
So, that's the driver of the day.
Star Trek.
Sum up the weekend.
Number 1, engage.
Well, sum up the weekend if you can, because I think it's quite hard. We've had quite an exciting weekend, actually.
What is that of our starboard bow?
I think it's a big rain cloud that's just soaked the circuit. If you look at the back of the window, it's raining here as well.
Is it?
Yeah, so it's raining here as well, so that's interesting. Driver of the day, we've done Ocon and obviously Hamilton. Going forward then, when will Hamilton wrap up the title? He stands mathematically a chance next time out.
Worst driver of the day.
Oh, worst driver of the day. Stroll? There's only one
No,
call
I think
then.
that's to do with COVID, that Stroll was so bad.
It's going to take a while, isn't it, to get together. Next time, yeah.
There's a few of them that needed to have a good race this week and didn't. Georgie boy did his best, but he doesn't have the equipment underneath him.
Just to give you the final running results then before we go off air. Lewis Hamilton wins for the 92nd time. Valtteri Bottas is second. Max Verstappen rounds out the podium. Charles Leclerc gets a crucial 4th place for Ferrari in their hunt to chase down the top 3. Pierre Gasly 5th, even better for AlphaTauri. Carlos Sainz 6th after briefly leading the race at the start. Followed then by Sergio Perez, who does a massive fight back to get 7th place. That is deserving of a driver of the day mention as well.
well after being spun off by Verstappen early on. Further down, Esteban Ocon is 8th, Danny Ricciardo 9th. Brilliant strategy by both the runners, gets them double points. And his first point in 3 races, Sebastian Vettel making it 2 points out of 8 races. Still not good enough. Kimi Räikkönen in 11th place from Alexander Albon in 12th. Lando Norris is 13th, but it got that black and white flag. It cost him. George Russell, very impressive, 14th. Antonio Giovinazzi, 15th. Romain Grosjean, 16th. Kevin Magnussen, 17th. Nicholas Latifi, 18th. Danny Kvyat, 19th. And Lance Stroll, our only retirement, and in 20th place after multiple contacts throughout the day.
And Renault, I've got 2 drivers in the top 10. The resurgence of Renault is taking pace. And
it's going to be a fascinating end to the year. With
what is it about
3.
Danny Rick, who leaves teams that are just about starting to get well?
I'm starting to worry about McLaren. Hopefully he'll get somewhere with McLaren, with them having Mercedes engines. Just looking back at the start of the race, it was very, very wet and very greasy and slippery.
McLaren are back on form, and I'm sure there'll be a good place at McLaren for. It'd be a good placement for Danny there. Danny, brilliant lad, tries his hardest all the time. Right, we always look out for you. The Georgie Russell and Norris, 13th and 14th. That's good for George. Lando, not so good.
Yeah. Just a reminder, Lewis Hamilton now has a 77-point advantage to Valtteri Bottas. Hamilton can clinch the title next weekend in Imola.
I feel that Lando, it was the tactics of the team rather than him.
That was sort of the error first off, wasn't it?
But yeah, Georgie Russell, 14th place.
Russell's done amazing. We'll have to go off air because we've reached our 2-hour 30-minute time limit zone for this, and we'll have to go off to conclude. So quickly, moment of the weekend from you, Dad.
When he won.
Agreed. Right, me and Dad will be back next weekend for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Megan will join us again and we'll roast her in the only practice session of the weekend on Saturday morning. Reminder, you can join us on Friday for the usual preview show. Our transmission starts earlier than usual for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. 1 practice session Saturday morning, followed by qualifying at 12 o'clock. And our race day starts with our coverage at 11:30, lights out at 12:10. Well, Lewis Hamilton has come here to Portugal and he has gone away with 92 career wins. He is the greatest of all time, and I don't think we'll ever see this again. The question now, though, is how far can he go before he retires?
Yeah, Indy later on as well. They'll have the end of their championship.
It's going to be fantastic.
Lewis, I really hope Lewis gets to 8.
I think he will. I hope so, yeah.
I'm pretty sure he's on his way to his 7th.
Next time out in Imola, he could do it.
Hopefully, because he deserves it. But on race wins and points,
Yeah. Keep your fingers crossed. Next time out in Imola. But from today, Lewis Hamilton, the greatest of all time. Goodbye.
Bye.